fight for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him step up all eyes on him. I defend the people, them set spice on him. Evil politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them not ties on him. Them know say that the people rely on him. You know said them bring out them cries through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey. Rock you all the order of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm we. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. How long them a gonna know say that them fire can't cool? How long them a gonna take our people for fool? Nah build no houses, them nah build no school. Think them up the handle but the most I rule. Them better stop criticizing. Cause what them a do now phase him. You know the man no lazy. All them a talk, them a the one red crazy. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him step up all eyes on him. I defend the people, them set spice on him. Evil politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them not ties on him. Them know said that the people rely on him. You know said them bring out them cries through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey. The man hold the order of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm me. Them fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Most High Jah, guide us now, yeah. Our people need to see the light. Turn it up right. We will fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him step up all eyes on him. I defend the people, them set spice on him. Evil politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them not ties on him. Them know said that the people rely on him. You know said them bring out them cries through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey. Rock you all the order of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm we. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. How long them a gonna know say that them fire can't cool? How long them a gonna take our people for fool? Nah build no houses, them nah build no school. Think them up the handle but the most I rule. Them better stop criticizing. Cause what them a do now phase him. You know the man no lazy. All them a talk, them are the one we crazy. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Say from him step up all eyes on him. I defend the people, them set spice on him. Even politicians spread lies on him. But we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them not no ties on him. Them know say that the people rely on him. You know said them bring out them cries through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey, the man hold the harder of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm me. Them fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Them fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. Most High Jah, guide us now, yeah. Our people need to see the light. Turn it up right. We will fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the
On
people
October
every day.
28th, Melissa, a Category 5 hurricane, turned her wrath upon her homeland, Jamaica. In the aftermath, thousands of homes were destroyed, lives, pets, and livestock were lost, and dreams and hopes dashed. Resilient as we Jamaicans are known to be, our brothers and sisters on the island need our help now. To this end, the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation, OJLDF, has launched its official fundraiser. Please donate generously at OJLDF.net. We are depending on each and every one of you to get the most needed supplies to our people at home. Go to OJLDF.net. That's OJLDF.net and hit the donate button today. Thank you.
Spread lies on him, but we know the bugger them not wise like him. Back up, them not no ties on him. Them know say that the people rely on him. You know said them bring out them cries through him. That's why all the people them respect him. Just like Selassie and Marcus Garvey, rock you all the order of the Trinity. A real strong soldier in a army. No simpleton can disarm me. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day. Defending your rights, I saw him stay. How long them a gonna know say that them fire can't cool? How long them a gonna take our people for food? Nah build no houses, them nah build no school. Think them up the handle, but the most I rule. Them better stop criticizing. Cause what them a do now phase him. You know the man no lazy. All them a talk, them are the one we crazy. We'll fight for the people every day. Risk them life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people.
Nope. Yeah. Mic check. Mic check. Mike. Talk to me, my people. Can you hear me? Oh, refresh my mic. Kick my foot. Kick out a plug. No, no. You can't hear me now. Good. All right. Hey, good evening. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan. And it's our last program for the year. And so we just want to go out. Now flourish. What we want to do is we'd like to make this your show. When I say your show, we're going to open the mic early because we want to finish early. And we're going to just make you ask questions and I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. You can ask me questions about anything. On topic, off topic, around the topic, it don't really matter. The topic is governance, good governance. And anything you want to ask me, fine. We have some videos to play and we will do that. But before we do that, it's customary and it's mandatory that we recognize all of you, every single one of you, because I want to tell you it's been a journey. It's been a journey and I want to thank you for taking the journey with me. As I've always said, you could have been somewhere else. You have a choice and you made it to be here. And for that, my producer and I are eternally grateful to all of you. Because without you, we wouldn't be where we are. And the program is growing, leaps and bounds. You manage to lead things. See him so. Elaine, big up yourself. You manage things and will lead things. Yes. I see Elaine, we're on our channel, we block out the negative and focus on the positive. And that is so true. We don't get into arguments. We're trying not to get into arguments with folks. And I'll tell you why. Because that's a distraction. At the end of the day, we're about holding government accountable. And so people who would come in with all kinds of distractions, we're not focused on them because they really are not in a position to help the Jamaican people. They're not making decisions. They're not contemplating policies and writing or rewriting laws for the Jamaican people. So we're focused on those people, the people who can make a difference in the lives of the Jamaican people. We're not focused on the detractors and the naysayers, because they will always be with us, people. They will always be with us. So we're not focused on them. We have bigger things to do. So, yes, Elaine, we'll manage things and we'll lead things. Yes, indeed. Law eyes, bigger, better result and more productivity for Jamaica in 2026. Yes. Where there's life, there is hope. So we'll just keep it going. And Elaine, put up the disclaimer. The views and comments of the guests or the viewers are theirs and theirs alone. They're not necessarily that of the platform host. That's so true. Keep it moving. Oti, Carla Banks. Likewise, bless up to you and your family and Happy New Year when it comes. Good evening. Patel Crookshank. Yes. I owe you a call. I'll definitely make that call soon, very soon. Roy, a peace and love, everyone. Blessings for the new year. Big up. Yes. Kevin in the background. He's not with us on the platform, but he's with us because he just got off the phone trying to set some things up for us. So, yeah, if he's not listening, I'll certainly convey your message to him. All right. Dorette. Oh, what things are going on? You'll stock up. Okay. All right, Dorette. Pick up yourself. Dalton Harris, top of the night. More blessings. Thank you, Dalton. And we're all hoping for the same thing. Jeffrey, likewise. Happy New Year to you and your family. Cheerful Wild Horse. Blessings. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Refresh to excellence. Greetings. Bless up. LW. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Big up yourself. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. Barbara Giwa, blessings. Thank you for the support. Much appreciated. Laura Williams. Well, a new year is on its way. That is so true. That is so true. So we have to stock up and get ready for a new year, because a new year means new challenges, new things to do. So plus we have some old things we have to take care of. All right, Laura. Merlin Fid. Prosperous 2026. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome, Merlin. Brenda Lee Campbell. Oh, no sound. Yeah. Hope you're hearing me now, Brenda Lee. Oh, okay. Keep going, OT. God is my creator. Greetings. More love and prosperity. Thank you. Thank you. Means a lot. Hugh Cole. We're good now. Okay. We kick out the plug and put it back. Jamaican. Yes, 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 indeed. Dwayne Dingham. Okay, can't hear me. Keep it going. Okay, right. So the sound is good now. Okay, the number. Which number that, right? I could know. Leonie McLegan. Oh yeah, Happy New Year to you, Leonie. It's already New Year. You're in 2026 already. You're ahead of us. Thank you for spending the beginning of your new year with us. We appreciate it. We love you, and we ask you to continue to support us. Cheerful Wild Horse up now. Okay, yeah. Oh, put up the number. Yeah, we'll soon put it up, Hugh. We'll soon put it up. Lorraine, good night. Good night, Lorraine. Happy New Year to you when it comes. Grandma, granddaughter, a blessed and peaceful New Year's. Thank you. Thank you. Same to you and family. Mikey Reed, kick some love. All right, sir. Thank you. Peer Love Runner say no. Go back, OT. Please. Okay. Big up yourself, Mikey Reed. Go forward now. Thanks. Charmian. Yes, Charmian. And we're sending that right back to you. Crimson. Yes. Cocoa Beans, good evening. Carol Allen, thank you. Happy New Year to you and your family as well. Ewan Hilton, Happy New Year to you, my brother. Don James, we cross over a lot of crying and sorrows. Yes, Don James, big up yourself. Happy New Year to you as well. And yeah, we have some more climbing to do. Boom Clash. We're going near year to the world. Yes. Thank you. Andrea Burke. Yes. Happy New Year to you and your family. Blessings. Joey Blogs. Blessings. We are calling blessings for all I know. All of you in the chat. All of you watching, listening. Enough love. Keep it going, OT. Carol Allen. Big up yourself. Martin Powell. Blessings. That's it. Okay. All right, cool. Richard, it's a happy new year. Happy new year to you, to Richard. All right, folks. It has been a topsy-turvy year. We managed to get a lot of information about and from the government. And we hope that in sharing the information, you have come to the realization that the Jamaican government needs a lot to be desired. It needs a lot for us to say, yes, it's functioning properly. And that's because I just, if nothing else, put aside the fact that the Prime Minister's wife and the Prime Minister, they control 2 of the 3 branches of government. Put that aside. It's the one thing you cannot put aside is just the level of corruption. Just think about it. If Jamaica was half as corrupt as it is, just think about where we would be. Just think about where we would be. And the first thing I want to share a little light on is the crime statistics. Now, they will come out. They've started already. And they're going to come out and they're going to tell you that it's the lowest it's been in donkey years. It's the lowest it's been in donkey years. If you're watching and you'd like to know if it's true that the crime statistics are the lowest in donkey years, just ask the Ministry of National Security and the JCS to prove it to you. Just ask just a simple question. Just say, you saying it's the lowest? Prove it to us. Give us the numbers and give us the categories of homicide. If you really want to cause grief for them, just ask them that. Give us the numbers and give us the categories of homicide. Just those 2 things. Because in Jamaica, I've learned that when you say homicide, like in America, if you say homicide, it means murder. In Jamaica, when you say homicide, they have about 6 or 7 or 8, 10 categories. Murder is only one. Murder is only one. So ask them. Because what you're going to find is that you have hundreds of dead bodies that they put in different categories. That's true, Hugh Cole. That extrajudicial killings have gone up, way up. Talk about human rights violations and the Magnitsky. That's it. That's it. But just ask them for the number or the statistics and ask them for the categories. Categories of homicide. That's what you must ask for. Because if you ask for murder, they're going to give you a number. And my sources are telling me that that number is not correct. That number is not correct. But if you ask for homicide, then you will see the various categories. And then you're going to say to yourself, for example, there's a category called death investigations. And you're going to see hundreds of people in there. The number is going to be over 100. And you're going to say to yourself, well, what does this mean? You know what that is? That is one of the areas where them shoot the bodies and claim that they don't know how the person died. That the person, that death is still under investigation. So don't let them fool you, people. Furthermore, I asked them because I have the list. I have the list. I have a partial list. Well, I have a list of the categories, and they're adding more categories. They're in the process. When I got that list, they were in the process of adding more categories. And I asked them under the access to information. That's why I said Jamaica is not a real place, because there are no consequences to them violating the law. They're supposed to respond within 30 days, and they're supposed to give you the stuff. They're supposed to give you the information. That's one. Or tell you they're not giving you the information. That's two. Or three, tell you that they need an additional 30 days to provide the information. The information I am seeking, it's been sitting at the high command for months. And every time I call, I hear, yes, they're getting to it. They're going to sign off on it and get. Up to now, I can't get it. And you know why? Because they know I'm onto something. They know that if they give that to me, I'm going to expose them. I'm going to expose them. Because when you look at, I don't have time to go look for the category, right? The categories right now, but I can show you the categories if you haven't seen them before. And it's a lot. It's a lot of categories where they just push bodies in. And then also they're underreporting crime. And this is coming from my sources within the JCF. They're telling me that they're underreporting crime. Also, remember now, missing persons, that's another one. I think it's after 6 years, you can go to court and have somebody declared legally dead. If they can't find the person has been missing for, I think it's 6 years. They have people in the missing category for God knows how long. And those people are not considered murdered. What would be interesting is if you went to court and said, look, my relative has been missing now for 7 years. I want the person to be declared legally dead. Where are the police going to put that statistic? Where are they going to put that? Believe me, I ask so many questions and they don't have the answers. Or they have the answers, but they won't tell me. So let's just put that to bed. Anybody who says to you, oh, this government is the best government because in terms of crime, we have the lowest murder rate. We have the lowest, the art. You see, this is what they're going to give you. Say murder. They show shootings, persons injured and all that stuff. That's not what you want. That is not what you want. You ask them, give me the homicide rate. Give me the homicide statistics. If Kevin was here, hold on a second. Let me call Kevin and see if Kevin can find it for me. Hold on there. And then, folks, you'll see what I'm talking about. Hold on. Kevin. Yeah, that OT, that chart you put up, that's not it. That's not it. All right, folks. Kevin is going to put up the chart, and you're going to see the chart I'm talking about. The chart that OT showed. That is the one that they feed you with, and they tell you that yes, the murder rate is down, and this and that, and they can manipulate that. I'm talking about something more granular, something more defined. something that is more telling about the crime rate in Jamaica or the murder rate in Jamaica. It's more telling. It's not just you just put up a number and said this is the number of people murdered in Jamaica this year. This is the number of people murdered last year, and therefore when you look at the two, you see a decrease. No, that's not it. So Kevin is working for that. He's looking for it right now, and as soon as he's able to put it up, I'll show it to you, and you're gonna be shocked if you haven't seen it. A lot of you have seen it already, and there are more categories that they're adding to it. There are more categories they're adding to it. So if you say what is a homicide in Jamaica, it doesn't mean this. If you live in America, it's not the same thing. Because when you say homicide in Jamaica, homicide in America, it means murder. That's what it means. In Jamaica, it's just, when you say homicide, it has many, many categories, and murder is just one of them. And this is how they play games with the numbers, because those other categories, they don't count them. Even though we suspect a lot of those are murders, but they don't count them. So we'll wait for Kevin to come and put that up. Oh, wait a minute. He's looking for it now. Yes, and Roy, the extrajudicial killings. Yes. Yeah, I forgot that it's the homicide. They have suicide. They have they gave me a bunch of categories. Kevin is looking for it. No. Stay with me. We don't want to move off of this topic yet. But so that's the first one we're talking about, the crime statistics. The other one is, and it's almost like a year in review. We just run through some things. The commission, otherwise known as the integrity. Oh, there it is. Is it this? Hold on, this? Yes, this is it. Hold on. Kevin, go back there. Kevin, where you there? I don't see you. Can't find Kevin and all people. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Hold on a second. I just saw it once. Stay with me, people. Hold on, I'm gonna call Kevin and find out what's going on. All right. Thanks for waiting. Well, no, let me go back and remember we talked about homicide. I remember what I told you that the JCF, when you say homicide, it's not murder only. Murder is just one category of what they call homicide. Whereas in the US, when you say homicide, invariably you're referring to the murder rate. In Jamaica, you're referring to death rate, I guess, because murder is just one of the categories in there. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. And you'll see why they can't fool you. Because remember now, when you come around here, you come into school, right? And we want you to challenge us and we want to inform you. And remember what I said to you. When they tell you about this low murder rate, just ask them, what are the numbers and what are the categories? And they're going to say to you, what do you mean? And then you tell them this, that. See that? See the category? Look at that. You see that one, death investigation? They have over 100 people. Last time I checked, they had over 100 people in there, or 100 bodies in there. And they can't tell how those people died. They said, we can't tell you how those, it's being investigated. See the other one below it, homicide. So when you ask them homicide, the people in homicide, you have to ask them, what do you mean by homicide? Look at the third one, body found. Let me big it up. All right, there you go. Body found. Look at the next one. Decomposed. So you have body found, and then you have bodies that are found that are decomposed. So up to now, they still don't tell you if it's a murder. Hospital mortality. They don't tell you that. You know, sometimes somebody's shot, injured, they go to the hospital, and some period thereafter they die. Skeletal remains found. They just said, we don't know if it's murder. We just found some. What about forensics? Forensics should be able to tell you. Look at this other one. This one here below it. Look at this. This one there at the top. Undetermined death. They're saying, we don't know. Inconclusive. Unknown. These were living, breathing people. And the JCF is telling you, we don't know. No, look at, you see, now they have their own to this category here, murder now. They tell you it was 1405 in 2023 and, wait a minute, yeah, and 1146 in 2024. No, that's just one category. See, there it is, murder. Then you go to death, self-defense. Then you go to suicide. Then non-crime. What's that? Sudden death. There's another one, death by misadventure. Accidental shooting. Acts of God. Drowning. Electrocution. Fall-related deaths. Fire. Motor vehicle accident. Poison food. Work-related. No, some of these, they haven't done an investigation to say, well, wait a minute, somebody got poisoned. That was intentional. That was murder. Somebody poisoned. They have done that. You remember the gentleman who was, I think he was a corrections executive. I think he was either in charge of corrections in Jamaica or number 2 or 3. And remember, he drove from Kingston, drove all the way to Spur Trail, drove off the road. And what happened? He didn't die. So he got out of the car and he went, found a tree and hung himself. This is what we were, this is the understanding we were given. by the police. Now, this is what happened. This man wanted to kill himself. He wanted to kill himself. He left Kingston and said, you know what? I want to kill myself, you know. And I think the best way to do it is just to drive off a Spurtree Hill. So I'm going to drive hours to get there and then do that. And he drove off, failed. And then he said, you know what? I'm going to find a tree and hang myself. How is fall-related death a homicide? Sometimes this is right with the chat. And that's the problem sometimes with writing, is that you can't really get the gist of what the person is saying because the person is not in front of you. So when you say how is fall-related death or homicide, I'm not quite sure. If you can flesh that out a little bit for me, please, so I can answer you. Yeah, because I think I know where you're going, but I don't want to answer the question unless I'm sure of the question. So, Roy, see if you can help me out. Help me out, please, and just kind of refine the question so I can answer you. But think about it, people. Do you believe that was classified as a suicide? That was classified as a suicide. The man couldn't find no place to commit suicide, except in his mind, he said, the only place I can commit suicide is I have to drive hours away from Kingston. And then I have to drive over the cliff. And that didn't work. And he got out and he said, all right, you know what? Plan B. I need to go find a tree now and hang myself. And they come out and they said, investigation over. This is a homicide. I mean, this is a suicide. Oh, I see what you mean. It's under the, okay, it's on the list under the category homicide. Okay. Fall-related death. Your guess is as good as mine, right? These people are, so there it is. So then you have motor vehicle accident, then you have manslaughter. Manslaughter is right there, not the total. No, I can tell you something. Look at all these categories. Look at all these categories. Let's start back. Death investigation. Another death investigation, they're looking at homicide, body found, decomposed body, hospital mortality, skeletal remains found, undetermined death. They don't tell you what the hell that is. They just said inconclusive, unknown. Then murder is murder by itself. Then death, self-defense. Then suicide. Then non-crime. Sudden death. I don't know what that is. Death by misadventure. They have accidental shooting, acts of God, drowning, electrocution, fall-related death, fire, motor vehicle accident, poison food, work-related fatal accident, and then manslaughter. No, what I want you, all of you, to understand is that these are not all the categories. They have additional categories they're going to put on. And this is how they hide the true number of murders in Jamaica. This is how they do it. This is how they do it, people. There it is right there. So when anybody come to you and they tell you that it is low, just tell them, say, hey, you know what? I was watching Rattigan's program, and he put up a chart with a whole bunch of categories, including murder. And yes, you can tell them that the chart came from the JCF. This you're looking at, I didn't make this up. And what happened is that if you notice, we redacted the numbers except for murder. We block out the numbers. Because guess what? The numbers, we were told the numbers are higher. That's what we heard. The numbers are higher. So they said the numbers that you have there, they're low. You need, the numbers are actually higher. And we've been asking for this, and they won't give it to us. So there it is, folks. You know, Bob Marley said, don't make them fool you or even try to school you. It's true. Because this is what they're going to come out with. And they started already. They started about a week ago or so. They started coming out saying it's the lowest, it's the lowest, it's the lowest. Plus, we haven't even added the extrajudicial killings yet in a couple of hundred. We haven't added those yet. And some of those, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them are flat out murders. We've seen the videotapes. Some of them are flat out murders. So please don't let them fool you. Don't let them come and tell you this and tell them show you. Tell them show me the categories. I need to see the categories. Tell them you want to see the homicide categories. That's what you tell them. And once you tell them that, you're going to shut them up. Anybody who comes to you and they tell you this, and the moment you say, okay, you say murders are done, show me the categories, they're going to be, use a big word, flummoxed. They're going to be unable to comprehend what you're asking. They won't know. They won't know. And then you can just walk away and tell them, that's your homework. I want to see the categories under homicide. Want to see the categories. So, let me move that. Integrity Commission now. Let's move on quickly to Integrity Commission. Folks, I've read a lot of the Commission's reports. I've read the Integrity Commission Act many times. I've read the history of the Integrity Commission. I've looked at some of their filings in court. I've looked at their annual reports. I've looked at their performance in front of Parliament, the Oversight Committee. And I can tell you that while it is a noble endeavor to have an organization with a sole focus on corruption, to eliminate corruption or to control corruption, while it is a noble endeavor, it is failing. In my estimation, it is failing so much that I don't think at this point they deserve the full title, Integrity Commission. They deserve to be called, at this point, just the Commission. Their investigations are, some of the ones I've seen, they're compromised. They won't be able to put anybody in prison because when I look at some of the investigations they've conducted, they're woefully inadequate. Woefully inadequate. They don't measure up to the standard that you can actually take somebody to court, prosecute, and get a conviction. No. I have to toot my horn. And the reason why I'm tooting my horn is because I've done the work. I've put the time in. I've read their work product. And what I can tell you is that if I had to represent some of the people that they've brought charges against, those people would get away scot-free. I would get them off. Because the investigation is sloppy. All of them, no. But most of the ones I've read, I find all kinds of issues with them. And they're so afraid that when they should go after the Prime Minister, they don't. When they had a chance the other day to go after him again with that property up in Beverly Hills. And they didn't go after him. Then they have a stupid policy where if they're not referring you for prosecution, at the end of the investigation, they invite you to come in and then they sit down with you and they tell you what was the nature of the investigation and invite you to submit a response if you want. This is foolishness. The first thing that must happen is they need to go back and they need to rewrite the Integrity Commission Act of 2017. They can amend it, but I think it's just more than amending one section. I think they need to go and look at the whole thing and rewrite it. And here's the thing. Both parties are guilty of what I'm saying. Both. This thing started under Bruce Golding. How do I know this? I'll show you. Hold on. I wasn't planning on doing this, but okay. All right, here it is. Here's how I know this. Okay, here it is. Before I pick it up and show you something, this is the Hansard, and if you watch the program, you should know that Hansard is the typed version of everything that's said in a particular hearing in Parliament. And every now and again, you'll hear somebody say, "Yeah, go to Hansard, go to Hansard, go to Hansard." They're saying, pull up the transcript. It's a transcript. It's everything that's said, that it's typed. So you can go back and you can look to see what was said. For example, in this one I'm going to show you, this is about the Integrity Commission Act of 2017, January 31st. The Prime Minister made an appearance and in the discussion, and you're going to see what he said. So if you want to find out, you can get into the mind of the legislator. What was this person thinking when they were passing this law? You go to the Hansard, because that's where they start discussing it, and you can see you can read the discussion, and you can actually surmise what's going on. And in fact, sometimes you don't even have to surmise it. You don't even have to think about it, because they tell you exactly. But if you're a defense attorney, if you're defending somebody for breaking a particular law, you always want to go to the Hansard to see what was said, what was the intention, because that can cast doubt on the prosecution. Yes, you have the law, but it's the application. It's not in a vacuum. The law is there, but it's not in a vacuum. It has to apply. And so it's the application you're looking for. And then you can go to the Hansard and say, no, they didn't intend for the law to be applied this way. But that's something else. Here it is right here. This is the Prime Minister speaking. There it is. He said, "Before I go into my presentation, Mr. Speaker, this bill is long in coming. I recall when the bill started, somewhere around about 2009, thereabouts, when we started to do work on the bill, the first iteration of the bill. So this started under JLP government." He said, Mr. Speaker, I remember then Prime Minister Bruce Golding sat where I now sit, and I sat beside him. So it was during Bruce Golding's tenure that this Integrity Commission thing came up, right? And they lost the election, and the PNP got a chance now to work on it, and they worked on it, and they lost the election. And then the JLP continued the work through the passage of the law, or the passage of the bill into law. So it started around 2009, and the PNP lost the election. I think, they lost 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. They lost the election in 2011, I believe. They lost the election. The JLP lost the election around 2011, and the PNP was working on it they lost the election in 2016. And then the JLP came back into power, and they worked on it through 2017, and it passed, and then it took effect 2018. So both parties worked on this. And I'm telling you, When you read this thing, you could see where the loopholes. Remember what I told you. When you read the Hansard, you get insights as to how these politicians are thinking. You also, when you read the Hansard, you see how they're creating loopholes in the law. Not for you and me, for themselves. And in this Hansard, you see where they actually use the word loophole about it. The discussion had to do with whether or not a wife and children you had to declare assets owned by your spouse and children. That they were discussing that, and someone used the word loop because there is a loophole in the Integrity Commission Act for that. There is a loophole, and even though they discussed it and they identified it, it still made it into the law. They still passed it. So they didn't do it for me and you. They didn't do it for us. They did it for themselves. And I can say this because you know why? I've done the reading. I've done the reading. So nobody can come tell me, say, well, me, I'll make it up, and I challenge anyone to say I'm making it up. Because I can show them where they discuss certain things in the Hansard, and I can show them in the law itself where those things manifest themselves. You open the law and you see them right there, and then you go back to the answer and they say, but wait a minute, they were discussing this thing as a loophole. But why did they put it in? Why didn't they just get rid of it? But it's there, it's in the law. So getting back to the point, the commission, it's not worthy of having the name integrity in front of commission. It's not. It's not. I don't know if it's because, I don't know if they're understaffed. I mean, when I look at the annual report, certainly you can see where they're understaffed in certain areas. But you would think, ladies and gentlemen, that if you're going to create a super anti-corruption agency, that one of the things you're going to do is to ensure staffing is in place. You're going to, not just staffing, qualified staffing. You're going to make sure that you have people who can do the work. But in this case, when you look at their annual report, you'll see that they don't have enough people, even after what, 7 years, because they didn't. The law was passed. But here's the thing: they didn't start from scratch. They didn't. Remember, they took 3 anti-corruption agencies, including the Contractor General's office, and there was also another one called the Integrity Commission, and a third one. They took 3 agencies and merged them. So it's not like they said it's not like this was a unique idea, and it's the first time they're saying, look, let's come up with something to combat corruption. And then they said, okay, and they started out. They had this already in place, and they just combined these 3, and here we are. And then when you look at their work product, you marvel. I'm telling you, people, you marvel. I know a lot of you don't have the time to read the reports, but you either trust me with my reading or my understanding of it, or go read it for yourself, and then we can have a discussion. And I can tell you certain reports that you should go read. The Westcon investigation against the Prime Minister, read that one for yourself, and you'll see. The one with the statutory declaration, go read that. The one with this place up in Beverly Hills, go read that one. Read the one with Minister Tufton and his friend, Market Me. And there are many others I can tell you. Just go read those, and then read them. And if you have a different opinion than the one I'm sharing tonight, then please reach out to me and let's talk. Because listen, it's what I've read, it's my interpretation, it's my opinion. doesn't mean I'm right. I just happen to think I'm right, but it doesn't mean I'm right. Objectively, it doesn't, because we all come with our biases and all of that. But I need you to go read. And then once you've read it, then we can talk. And then you may be able to convince me that, no, this thing that you said here, it's not supported by anything in the report. So you're wrong. And trust me, I would be more than willing to tell you if I'm wrong. If you can show me to concede and say, yes, you're right, I didn't see that. But just read it. Read. Just pick up any one of those reports and read for yourself. But read it with a critical eye. Don't read it as if you're reading a novel, because you'll get lost. You'll get lost. So the commission, they're in court, and God knows what's going to happen, because the prime minister is suing them and he wants certain parts of the report to be thrown out, which is kind of ludicrous because everybody has seen the report. I mean, everybody who's interested in reading, they've read the report, so they know what's going on. And as a result of the prime minister suing them, the Craig Beresford, who's now, I think, their executive director, his affidavit came out and he opened up the door for us. He opened up the door for the commission. Started out by saying, okay, here are some accounts and this and that and that, but Craig Beresford is the one. His affidavit clinched the deal because it showed us that the prime minister did not comply with the requirements to submit a statutory declaration containing all of his assets, liabilities, and income. All means all. Didn't. Had it not been for that Craig Beresford affidavit, I wouldn't have known that the prime minister was involved in 2 taxi companies. I wouldn't have known that the prime minister was involved in Omega Bridge, a loan company. I wouldn't know that the prime minister had a company called Panamerian, a company formed in the British Virgin Islands. Wouldn't know about that. Wouldn't know about the prime minister's involvement in the 2 Ponzi schemes, Olint and Cash Plus. And there are many other things that I wouldn't have known about had it not been for that. But they still didn't do enough. They didn't do what's expected of them. And if you've ever read their reports, atrocious. You have to read their reports several times over to understand what's going on, because it jumps and it's all over the place. There's no coherence to the reports. There's no coherence. If I had written, well, one of the things that I learned in the FBI was how to write a report. And one of the things that we were taught is that you have to write a report not only for your supervisor, you have to write a report as if 10 supervisors down the road, they're going to be looking at this for whatever reason, historical purposes or whatever, and they should be able to understand it. So you can't write it for your immediate supervisor. You have to write it for that supervisor, the supervisor that will replace him, the one that will replace him. You have to write it so that anybody could pick up that report and read it and get to the heart of the matter. Not so with the Integrity Commission's reports. They're poorly written. Every time I have to read one of these reports, I have to get pen and paper, and then first I have to read it, try and digest whatever I can. Then I take a second read. Then what happens now, you have to start sketching out things, because their reports don't read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Their reports read 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 8, 10. That's all. It like this. So you have to sketch it out to figure out what's going on. So they don't have good investigators. They don't write good reports. And they don't do some of the basics. Investigations 101. They don't. And I can tell you this based on my experience. I can tell you this. I've written many reports. And I've read many, as many reports as I've written. So when I tell you that the reports, they're not well written, trust me, they're not well written. And I challenge anyone, because you know what I challenge them, because what I can do is I can take one of their reports and rewrite that. And have you read theirs and read mine. And when you read mine, you're going to understand it from you don't need more than one reading. You'll go, okay, yeah, this is straight. With theirs, it's all over the place. And then they leave out a lot of things. So sometimes you have to try and make the connection. And one of the worst things that they do, it is so stupid, is they have people respond. I don't know if it's because they're afraid of the ministers. They have them respond in writing. They send questions to them. No, you are the Integrity Commission, the anti-corruption agency of Jamaica. When you speak, people should listen. You should command respect and obedience to the rules. And so when you say to them, you need to come to the office, they must come. You don't send them report and have them write stuff and do all kinds of, no. A lot of this is about techniques. When people sit in front of you, and you ask questions, it's a far cry from when you give them all the time in the world to sit down with a lawyer and construct an answer. It's a difficult thing. It's hard for me to sit there and just watch this unfold. It's hard. Because a part of me is saying, no, this is not how it's supposed to be done. If you want the minister, you don't send the minister. If you want to get a response from the minister, you don't send written questions. You tell the minister, no, you come to the office. If you want to come with your attorney, fine. But then you come. These people are lazy. They sit there and type up questions and send the questions off, and the ministers, and then even when sometimes the ministers draft something, it's all nonsensical. It's all BS when you read it. But since we just go through, we won't spend much time on them except to say that I hope that they will improve their performance next year, because they have been a colossal failure. They have let down the Jamaican people. They really have. They really have. Oh, Paul Buchanan. I'd like to thank all of you who have contributed to the Paul Buchanan Fund. And I'm going to ask you to continue to contribute to it. There's a court hearing. I think it's the 16th or the 17th of next month. Let me see what date is. What day is that? Let me see something. Yeah, it must be the 16th. Friday the 16th. I think it's, don't hold me to it. Don't quote me on it. But I believe it's the 16th of January, 2026, that they're going to have a hearing. And the hearing is about the appeal. And what Mr. Wildman will be doing, he will be asking the court to grant leave for him to go and file his appeal with the Court of Appeal. Oh, it's the 13th. The 13th of January. Okay. Okay. All right. I stand corrected. It's the 13th of January. So, so he's going to court to say, hey, we have grounds to appeal. But big up yourself, Colin. Portland Spice TV in the area. So he's asking the court to grant leave so that he can go and file it with the Court of Appeal. Now, time is of the essence. So all of these things, and I think they're going to fast track it. All of these issues, they'll have to quickly address them. The court will have to quickly address them, because they can't. You can't have these things lingering, because you're talking about an election. You're talking about the possibility of the prime minister being removed if the election that was held on September 3rd is declared null and void, at least in West Central St. Andrew. So there is a lot at stake. And as a result of this, the court will have to move expeditiously. So I want to thank all of you again who have made a contribution to the fund. And we're asking all of you, $100 if you can afford it, or more if you can. Whatever you can. The suggested donation to this fund is $100, but whatever you can donate, it's fine. And let me be absolutely clear that it's not going to a political party. The money is not going to a political party. The money is not going to a political candidate. No. The money is going to the attorney representing the issue. We are in this for the issue, not for the candidate or a political party. And the issue is the sanctity of the election process. Good governance. That's what we're fighting for. And we need to pay the attorney to move the process forward. So whatever we can to help, whatever we can do to help, then we certainly will. But again, let me be absolutely clear that this is not about a political party. It's not about a political candidate. It's about the sanctity of the election process. Marisa, do you think qualified persons want to work at the IC, especially because of how labor rights have treated with it? Look, I don't know. I don't know, Marie. The whole mechanism of the Integrity Commission, I think, is flawed. They have to make it an elite unit so that people want to come there and work. They have to make it like that. They have to make it an elite unit. They have to pay the people properly. They have to make sure that people have security clearances. So that certain things, they have to do regular polygraphs to make sure that things don't get out that shouldn't get out. But then they're the ones letting out the thing, because look at Minister Tufton. How did he know about all of these things before the report got to Parliament? They told him. They told him. The Roe Washington, what about the Magnitsky? Here's the thing, the Magnitsky. We've been talking about it, and the government is frightened about the prospect of the Magnitsky landing on the desk of appropriate personnel in the US, the UK, the EU, and Canada. They can't sleep because of this. But here's the thing. Where he is right now, he's central to a lot of things going on in the Caribbean. So if we want to make a noise, we have to show up in force. We have to sign that thing like there's no tomorrow. And I've been asking. I said to the people, listen, we can't submit this thing with 2,000 votes. We can't. We can't. Because then it's going to look like it's just people here. We want people from all walks of life to sign this thing. And some of you have expressed to me fear. You've said to me, we're fearful that the government will find out that we have signed this thing and there will be retribution. And we have tried our level best to assure you that they won't have this information. And yet, people still won't sign. People still won't sign. But we're going to continue with the initiative. We're not abandoning it. We're just waiting, because I think something is going to happen that will cause people retribution. How I've signed months ago. D. Marie, you'd be surprised the phone calls I get. People have said to me, I don't want to sign it because, you know, they might find out, and I live in Jamaica and this and that, or I live overseas but I have family in Jamaica and they know me, and ask that Crowfat. I've heard. And some of the people who have spoken to me, to be honest, I understand, but I don't agree with them, because the issue is whether or not the government will get possession of the information. Whether or not the government will get information that you signed it. And I'm trying to convince people that they won't get the information. But we're not abandoning it. And you know what? Everything happens for a reason, you know, because look, the extrajudicial killings, now you're talking about human rights violations, they've actually gone up. So that's going to even make the petition stronger. That's going to make the petition. But I urge all of you to just go ahead and sign it. And if you have problem, oh, by the way, I must say this, that some of you are having difficulty signing on. Well, we have a tutorial on our website, OJLDF.net. OJLD as in David, F as in Frank.net. I repeat, One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation, OJLDF.net. We have a tutorial there that you can go. I think Producer Jones said it's about a minute or less than a minute. And it walks you through the whole application or the whole process of registering your support for the Magnitsky. It's there. And if you have problems doing that, then please let us know, so we can fix it. But I think it's very clear. But again, you may have some problems, and if you do, please let us know. All right, what else we want to talk about, OT? JPS. No, put JPS aside. The buses. We filed a long time ago asking the government to give us the VIN numbers, give us all the particulars, give us the letter that Minister Vaz wrote, asking that the buses, that these new buses, be allowed to come into the country without the, you know, all of the tariffs and the taxes and the fees and all of that. We asked, and to date, nothing. Even though the minister said, "Oh, I'd be willing to go on in the program 24/7, 347, and I'll do this," and we invited him. We said, "Please come on, so that we can have a discussion about these buses." Crickets, nothing. And you know why? Because we have done the work around here. We know about the person up in Chicago. We know about the buses coming from Vegas. We know about the buses down in Florida. We know a lot. So we want him to come so he can explain what we know. Explain them to the satisfaction of the taxpayers in Jamaica. And explain to us, why is it that we don't have 110 buses in Jamaica, even though he promised that all of the buses would be in Jamaica by the end of July 2025. So if all the buses are not there, because he gave a schedule. He said X amount would arrive on this date. Y amount would arrive on this. He gave us all of that. But he never came back to say, Jamaican people, I have to inform you that the promise I made to you, I cannot fulfill because of. He didn't come back and say that. And so the question is, where's the money? Or where's the rest of the money? Or better yet, where is the money? Because these buses, you certainly, if you paid the amount of money that we saw on the invoice for some of those buses, you got ripped. But we don't believe you got ripped. We don't believe you got ripped off. We don't believe the Jamaican taxpayers got ripped off. At least in that way. We don't believe it. Because, I still have my thing here, I have it with me as a constant reminder for the Jamaican people. They're behind me. I have it as a constant reminder. See it here. See there? The vehicle was sold for $1. See there? And see dollar there? Away dollar there. Away dollar. Oh, dollar. See there? $1. I keep this as a constant reminder. Constant reminder that the Jamaican people to date have been fleeced. Have been fleeced. Plus, the buses are no good. Minister Val said that himself when he said that the people are experiencing sickness on the buses, the children. They're bleeding and all kinds of illness. He said that. And don't forget, a young lady fell out on the bus the other day. She lucky the bus never run over her. Because they moved the door from across the driver to behind the driver. So now the driver distracted all over the place. Oh, and another thing is this. Minister Val said that, the American bus system, it's second to none. It's the gold standard, he said, in terms of safety and all of that. Well, I guess he didn't look into it carefully. Because in America, students do not stand on that bus. Everybody have a seat. Everybody has a seat. And in Jamaica, some of the buses, them, packed. People standing, children standing. So, for the next month, we want Minister Vaz to come clean. I don't want him to answer my ATIs and send me the information because I have a group of investigators here that I work with, and we want to look at the VIN numbers because when we look at the VIN numbers, we can track the birth of that vehicle. We can see when the vehicle was made, where it was made, who make it, who purchased it, how long it was on the road, the mileage, how it was sold. We have all of that. We can get all that information. We just need the VIN numbers. And we got some VIN numbers, not courtesy of Minister Vaz, courtesy of somebody else from Customs, but we got that first one, 28, I believe. And then that was it. That was it. So Minister Vaz, you have to come and talk to us about that. Another thing is JPS, people. We started it last week where we were talking about the history of JPS, and we started going through the license, and we went through the Electricity Act of 2015 that combined all the outstanding acts concerning electricity in Jamaica. And again, let me be clear. Again, we're not playing politics around here. Again, both parties are responsible for whatever is happening now in Jamaica with electricity. Be honest, people. Be honest, man. If you're saying we're endeavoring to bring truth to the people, then you have to be honest. Both parties. No, you can say, and here's what I said last week: Minister Vaz has no right addressing the opposition on this electricity issue. None. One of the things he said was that the license was flawed to begin with, the terms. And I'm saying, well, wait a minute. You knew this back in 2016 when you took when the JLP took over. You knew this. The government knew this. So why is it only in 2025 we're hearing that the terms were flawed? Why? And there are provisions in that license that they could have triggered. There are things that they could have, they had leverage. There are things that they could have done to say, well, no, we're going to do this, and if you don't do it, this is what we're going to do. They could have. Plus, don't forget that Jamaica owns 19.9% of JPS. The Jamaican government owns, the taxpayers, will own 19.9% of it. And we have people on the board. So how come all these things going on and we don't know about them? How come? So Mr. Vaz has no right to talk about that. Then MP Paulwell, him have no right to challenge Minister Vaz, because the Electricity Act was passed on August 17th, 2015, and took effect August 27th, 2015. You know who was in power at that time? You know who was Minister of Energy at that time? Minister Paulwell. And that act cemented the monopoly for JPS. Cemented it, people. They had a chance to say, you know what, JPS, what we're going to do, we're going to pass a law and it won't be a monopoly. We're going to invite competition, because we need, when you have competition, guess what? And this is a basic economic theory. When you have competition, prices tend to go down. If you have a monopoly, if you have one person providing the service or the goods, they can charge whatever they want. But when you have competition, they have to be careful, unless there's collusion. And they would have to pass a law against that as well. Say, you can't have 3 people in the marketplace and they collude that we're going to keep the price at this level. No, you must have true competition. But you know who can cuss MP Paulwell and MP and Minister Vaz? Because we weren't a party to it. We weren't a party to the agreement. Yeah, D. Marie, you're right, because I've seen where they lowered, because above a certain kilowattage, they didn't have to pay anything, and then they lowered it in I think it's 2016. The government lowered it. But, so the question then is, who's worse? But there is no angel. On both sides for this, there is no angel. There is no, and I challenge any one of you who says that the PNP had nothing to do with this. I challenge you. I can show you the documents. I can show you the documents. I can show you the license, and I can show you the law. And then we can talk about, well, who was in charge of Parliament at the time when these things took place? Who had a chance to change things for the benefit of the Jamaican people? People, you have to be honest. We cannot come around here and be dishonest. And if we truly want Jamaica to change, we have to take a stand. And when something is wrong, we have to say it is wrong, regardless of who committed the wrong. That is my stance. That is my stance. I focus on government. You know why? Because there's something called the power of the purse strings. Government has spent your money. And when I say government, the opposition is part of government too. But we're not talking about, in a technical sense, we're talking about the majority party. They're the ones spending the money. They're the ones making the laws, except where you need 2/3. They're the ones coming up with policies, driving the country in a certain direction. That's why I'm focused on them. But we shouldn't, when there is reason, if you have to go back in history and you have to say, well, this is where we are. Who's responsible for us being here? If the facts show that both parties are responsible, then we need to say that. And one of the reasons why we need to say it so that people understand that we are now watching. Because when these things were done, a lot of times back then they didn't have social media, and things just happen, and some things come out in the newspaper, and then you don't hear anything more about it, except that when you get your bill, you see that there's an increase, and you might commiserate with your neighbor and a few people, and then you just accept it and you move on. But times have changed. And so we're calling people out. And if something is wrong, and I'm open to being fully corrected. LMC say you're not speaking like a lawyer. You know that the government could change the terms in the last 10 years. That is all that matters. Yeah, but LMC England, Jamaica, here's the point I'm making. You're talking about the last 10 years. JPS didn't come into existence the last 10 years. JPS came into existence 1920 something. So if you're saying that, well, the changes could have been made in the last 10 years, I would challenge you and say, well, they could have been made the 5 years before that, the last 15 years. Both parties had a chance to change it. Both parties had a chance to change it, and they didn't. So, and here's the thing: when MP Paulwell now come and say, well, we need to change the law so that JPS is not a monopoly. Come on, people. Come on. The law that solidified JPS being a monopoly was passed in 2015. Think about that. The law that solidified, the law that solidified JPS being a monopoly was passed in 2015. Who was the Minister of Energy in 2015? Them pass a law said that you can only one company. That along with the license, only one company can sell power in Jamaica, Yeah, and D. Murray, yeah, you're right. Well, let me play that. Let me play that. Let me play that. Let me play that. Hold on a second. OT, I'll threaten them because we tell OT so we'll finish early tonight. So OT have things planned. So where is it? I'm trying to find it. Give me a second, people. Di Maria asked me to play something. Wait there. Hold on. Give me 1 second, Di Maria. Okay, here it is. All right, here it is.
One of the things that I know affecting whole heap of people in Jamaica is the high electricity bill. When the PMP come into power, them say them going to bring down electricity costs. What has happened since? Electricity costs keep rising. They promise that by 2016 they would have made the JPS more efficient with more efficient plants. That's not going to happen till another 2 years. And before you know it, it will be another 3 or 4 years before them actually do it. The Labour Party will make sure that we put in place more efficient electricity generated plants to bring down the cost of electricity to you. I don't like to make promise. I make commitment. And under the Labour Party government, we are going to ensure that we bring to this country the big power plants. We are going to ensure that we bring to this country the big energy companies that can put the money in here to build the plants to give you cheaper and better electricity.
No, we all know that's a lie. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. He said he's gonna bring big electricity companies with big electricity plants that will invest the money in Jamaica and make electricity cheaper for people. But you know why he said it? He said it because of what was going on. He said it about what was going on with the PNP. That's why he said it. So he was attracting voters by saying, I'm going to do better than them because electricity is high. So this is what I'm going to do. But him coming now, and you're right, for the last 10 years, him not do the things them at all. But what I'm saying to you is this, is that it's both of them. It's both of them. And by the way, people, next week, this Saturday, we're off. We won't be on this Saturday. The following Saturday, we're going to return. That Saturday, I'm going to complete the JPS saga. And you will see, I will show you the documents. I will show you the documents. Right? And you will be able to determine for yourselves whether or not what I'm saying is correct, that both parties are responsible. And when, you know what I'm saying, when the two elephants them fight at the grass suffer, is that happen? They weren't fighting, but they weren't doing anything to let the grass grow. And the taxpayer suffer, I know. And when I say taxpayer, it no matter whether you're JLP or PNP or UIC or Up Jamaica or NDM, whatever, all of you paid that increase. So that's why I'm saying there are some issues that we have to rally around and forget about partisanship. The beach issue is another one. The beach issue is another one. It no matter whether it no matter what political party or which political party you support. Fact of the matter is that you cannot access all of the beaches in Jamaica. As a Jamaican, you cannot. And both parties had a chance to change that. Both. And so what I'm trying to galvanize the energy so that people can stand up and hold government accountable. We have one government now. Make us hold this government accountable. Make us hold them on the JPS. Make us hold them on the beach issues. Make us hold them on all the other issues that we hold them on. And when I'm saying it just so that their own supporters too can hold them accountable. People, Jamaica is going nowhere if we look at these issues through the lens of political parties. Not going, well, we have to look at these issues through the lens of citizenship, of being a Jamaican, and say, as a Jamaican, we deserve better. You're a prime minister tell you, I don't make promises, I make commitments. Nonsense. It no matter when make, it no fulfill. It no matter if him say, I'm gonna make you a promise, I'm gonna make you a commitment, makes no difference, because at the end of the day, you're not getting it. So people, when you hear, like I said, I don't spend time talking much about the opposition. Them have them job cut out for them. They have their own people. They know exactly what they're doing. I've never voted in Jamaica. I left Jamaica before I was even eligible to vote. All I want is a decent life for my Jamaican people. That's what I want. And we have a government now that is not providing that. And we have to hold them accountable. But remember this, people. The message might be good, but the messenger might be bad. I hope you understand what I just said. The message might be good, but the messenger might be bad. That's why Minister Vaz can take steps with MP Paul, because he must say, when you were there, you didn't do anything about it. So guess who are the good messengers? We are. We can cuss out the two of them and say the two of them never act in the best interest of the Jamaican people because of what both of you did. That's why we're here where we are right now. But since you know Minister Vaz have the reins of power, you must now make the change so that the electricity can become cheap for the people or affordable for the people of Jamaica. Following in the footsteps of your leader who say he make a commitment. So back in 2016. That is what we need to do. We need to call out things, people, when things happen. You know, we shouldn't get offended, you know, because you may support a political party, and then when we say, hey, they had a chance to do this and they didn't do it, that is a fact. You must accept that, man. Come on now, man. You must accept that. Because if you cannot accept those facts, then what can you accept? You cannot have a reasonable conversation with somebody now, because they're going to beat you over the head with say that you're a partisan. But you see, I remember no political party is perfect. None. And if you're able to say, yes, you know what? You're right. The party I supported, they had a chance to do it. And for whatever reason, they didn't do it. And then you switch the argument. And then you say, but no. You say, yes, they didn't do it. But no, you had a chance. You have a chance. You saw what they did. They made their mistakes. Now you have a chance to do it right. And you've been promising us from 2016 that you're going to make it right. And you haven't. That's how you make the argument. That's how you make the argument. All right, OT, what again you want to talk about? But the drill. We can't forget the drill, people. $25,000 drill sold for or purchased for almost 200,000 US dollars. And I find this interesting. Here's what I find interesting, people. You see, SSL, people are more aware. They're more outspoken. They're more interested in what's going on with SSL than they are with the drill and the school buses. Things that affect them directly. How many of those who are so fixated on SSL, how many of you invested in the SSL? Not many. How many of you are affected by taxpayers' money going out to buy decommissioned buses or buses that are old and have emissions issues and all the other issues attendant to having those buses on the Jamaican roads? How many of you are as concerned about that as you are about SSL? Not many. It's like, see, Jamaican people, our focus is not there. If we have a concert with entertainers, people will make all kinds of sacrifices to be there. But if you tell them, come out and protest against bad governance, against corruption, against mismanagement, fraud, waste, abuse, they don't show up. Something for their own good, they don't show up. They'd rather trade that for 2 hours and entertainment and then go back and live in squalor and poverty and degradation. Our focus is not there, people. Our focus is not there. We need to change. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go and support and entertain and be entertained. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that there are times when you may have to forego that and come and protest. There are times when you have to come out and vote. Thank you, refund. Or refers to excellence. There are times when you have to come out and vote, and people don't vote. They don't vote, and then they complain. You don't vote. That's a fundamental right. You don't exercise it, and then you complain that the government not do this and the government not do that. Of course the government not do it. Of course the government won't do it because they can count on you not voting. And so what you have is 30-something percent of the population, and less than that, that's the people voted. Less than that voted for the winning party. So let's say you have 20%. 20% of the people create a mandate for the whole country. 20% of the people. Let's say 20% of the voters. 20% of the voters voted for the winning party. 20% of the people who actually voted for the winning party. Them set the mandate for the rest of the country. You can't complain. You cannot complain. Boom Clash said, vote for what? The Queen's government. All right, so don't vote then. But then when you don't vote, Boom Clash, don't complain. Don't complain. Because here's what happened. Voting to me is not just dipping your finger in the ink. Voting to me is not a once in 5 years or 4 years event. Voting is an everyday event. Voting is when you show interest and you go to your council as a group and you say, we don't like what going on right, so we need to see the MP. And if the MP can't make the change, then we going to have to go do something else. We're going to have to go vote for somebody else. That will get them to act in your interest. So the number one priority of a politician, is to get reelected. That is the number one priority. And if you make it clear to him that you won't be reelected if you don't do these things, guess what? You'll get your wish. But you see, as long as you call the politician boss, and you go, one boss, give me a thing, or you go to the council, want a little thing, and you've sold yourself. You've sold yourself to the process. You're not driving the process now, you're following the process. And you should be drivers of the process because you put them there. So for me, voting is not every 5 years you go and put your finger in the ink and you vote for a political party. Voting to me is active participation on a consistent basis. That is voting for me. That is it. We need the communities to get together and start looking within themselves and say, well, wait a minute, these things are not being done. Infrastructure, hospital, roads, electricity, water, housing, school. Nothing now going on here. Jobs. Nothing now going on here. If you don't take active steps to make the change that you want, then you will become a casualty. You will become a casualty. And you become a casualty of laziness, of ignorance. of delay. You will become a casualty of your own demise. It's your doing. Ask the voters, ask them, how many of you know what's going on in your constituency as far as good governance? And how many of you know what's going on a national level on some of the issues that affect you directly? Spending issues. How many of you? How many of you force yourself to find out what's going on? If you're ignorant, it's very difficult. And when I say ignorant, meaning if you don't know, it's very difficult. Yeah, I'm going to open the phone line. So how do you have to get involved? And like I'm telling you people, voting is not a 5-year event for me. It's not a 5-year event. It's something that something that you have to be involved. You have to be involved with. You can't wait for 5 years to come around and them come around with some chicken and some couple sandwich and a t-shirt and 5,000, 10,000 Jamaican dollars, and you cast your vote, and then that's it. And we've been preaching that for quite some time. And it's falling to a great extent on deaf ears. So, and we could go, oh, no. Look, I'll tell you this. I have some ideas about governance, good governance, but I don't profess to have all the answers. I just have some ideas. And when people criticize me, it comes with the territory. I accept. But here's the one thing that you must do when you criticize me. You must come and say, well, I disagree with you, and here's my plan. Here's the alternative to what you've presented. And give me a plan, man, and we can work. But when you just cuss me out and get personal and you get emotional, And the last thing I want to talk about before I open the phone is the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council election, the upcoming election. You see what's going on, people. You see what's going on. They have changed the rules in midstream. I went back and I looked at their voting procedures. Their election procedures. And I looked specifically at their eligibility requirements. And they changed them. Less than 2 weeks ago, I was notified of the change. This is after people started voting. This is after people start. Look, I signed up. They sent it back and they rejected it and they said, you didn't give us a resume. And I said, but it says resume optional. Didn't say resume required. Optional means not mandatory. You can do it if you feel like. But I didn't argue with them. Saw it, sent the resume, brief resume. Then they came and they vetted 4 of us. And they said, okay, you 4 people, you're going to be running in the Northeast. You are the candidates. You are the vetted candidates. And then they put up the election date. They said election date, voting, November 20th, 2025. People who voted for me sent me confirmation of their vote. And those dates were after November 20th. So they come now and they said, well, you know, we're gonna suspend the whole thing because of Melissa, and then also people voted early. Think about that. Think about that. Put the Melissa part aside. Think about what the second thing I said. People voted early. Now you control the voting process. You put up the date. And somehow you're telling us that people voted early. But now if you try to vote, it's closed. So how did people vote early when you control the process? How? Because what happened when you register to vote, they give you a token. And that token is a one-time use. It's a one-use token. You use it to vote and then that's it. It expires. Oh, so Leonie McLagan said, a red banner now comes up saying it is too early to vote. See? How come that wasn't done back then? But I tell you this, my people, especially you in the diaspora, I tell you this. It doesn't have to be me. I don't yearn for a position. I don't yearn for a title. I don't yearn to go to cocktail parties and rub shoulders with ministers. You know what I yearn for? I yearn for the prosperity of the people in the diaspora. I yearn for them to live a decent life. I will fight for that. But it doesn't have to be me. They could have another candidate, and I would support that candidate. I would support that candidate. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. They're getting ready to get rid of me. And I heard it. They're getting rid of it because here's what they changed the rules to say, if you're not in cahoots with what they're doing, then they're going to reject your application. If you don't support the mandate of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, then in their estimation, you're not a player. They don't consider you a team player, and so they have to reject you. Now, here's the thing. It's a democracy, and all views must contend, whether you like it or not. It's a democracy. People have a right to say whatever they want to say and deal with it, say whatever they want to say and take whatever action, legal action I'm talking about. Here's what they're afraid of. I am going in there and I'm speaking now, and I hate doing this. I don't like, that's not my style to call people names and, use vituperation against people. But I have to say, they have some nincompoops. They have some idiots of the highest order kowtowing to the government of Jamaica as far as the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council is concerned. And they know who they are. And I will never retreat or surrender from the position that the government of Jamaica should not be a part of the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council. They should not lead it. They should not direct it. They should not influence it. They should not be a member of. No. The Global Jamaica Diaspora Council is supposed to be a standalone organization run by people in the diaspora. I make no bones about that. I am a firm believer in that. It should be registered as a 501c3 charitable organization. And its primary purpose is not to help the government of Jamaica. It is to help the people in the diaspora build a bridge with the government of Jamaica, any government of Jamaica, and say, we will help our brothers and sisters in Jamaica. But we have some people here, we are suffering, we have to take care of them too. We have some people suffering. People in Jamaica. I want everyone to know, say, we have people in overseas who live like dog. Not because they want to live like dog, but just because of circumstances. We have people who are falling on hard times. We have people who are homeless. We have people who have medical issues. We have people who can't find food. We have people who are struggle to go through school and would have just like a little help for help buy some school books. You know how many students call me and tell me, say, them need a little money for help with buying books or this or that. And then when you send them to the embassy, you know what the embassy tell them and the consulate, them can't help them. Now think about if we had a global Jamaica Diaspora Council 501c3 charitable organization that could extend help to these people. Our people. We have people, yes, DeMarie, we have people with immigration issues. And guess what? In the policy, the diaspora policy, they said that it's one of the things that they would assist people with. Tell them no if you go assist with this administration. Tell them to go assist, no. Tell them, say, for go and assist and have create a path for undocumented Jamaicans to become citizens. Tell them to go tell the administration that. Tell them. Anybody who tells you that I am involved with the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council and I will be working for the government of Jamaica, you cannot support that person. Because the answer should be, I want to be a member of the Global Jamaican Diaspora Council because I want to help people in the diaspora. And by extension, we want to collaborate and cooperate and help the people in Jamaica. So when you have a Melissa, you have an umbrella organization. The Global Jamaica Diaspora Council can harness all the support it can and say, look, we have to go help our brothers and sisters because they're going through hell. Boom, and we help. I say to them, these nincompoops, these idiots, these imbeciles who are members of the Electoral Committee, you idiots, if you would like the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council, if you're thinking about it, and you say, you know what? Yeah, it really should be run by the Jamaicans living overseas. Or if you say, no, I think it should stay the way it is, then I ask you to do one thing. I ask you to do one thing. If you truly believe that the Jamaican government should run it, I ask you to do this. Change the name. Change it from the Global Jamaica Diaspora Council to the Global Jamaican Government Council. And don't have elections. Don't have elections. Select people for that organization. Because think about it. You're asking the diaspora to vote, but then they're not your priority. You're asking the diaspora to vote in an election, but then the representatives will be working for the government of Jamaica, not for the people of the diaspora. And people, look, if I don't go to another, I've been to so many cocktail parties with people that you see on TV, and some of them even, we sit down and them ask for my opinion about certain things. Sometimes I have to pinch myself and say, I can't believe that a little boy from Waterhouse sit down amongst them people and them ask me my opinion on certain matters that include life and death. And me render my opinion. So if me no go another party, me go, ambassadors used to beg me to come at the parties then because me get all over the place. So me no need to go rub shoulders with them people. And them people are a ticky compared to some of the people who me used to rub shoulders with. And some of the people who me still in contact with. Them people who them rub shoulders with are ticky. Me no need that. I would be perfectly happy just to see a student who has suffered and I try to make ends meet, that we can offer some assistance to that student so that they can complete their education. I would be so happy to see somebody who have a mental problem get some help. I would be so happy for somebody who I try to buy food and I try to get public assistance, that we have somebody who can walk them through the maze of regulations and get them to the point where they can get the help that they need. I would be so happy to see where somebody who have an immigration issue, that we can actually work with that person, work with the system, and try and get satisfaction for that person. Those are the things I'm interested in. But they don't want that, because here's the thing now. And I make no bones. I go inside there. One of the first things I'm going to do, I'm going to say, listen, we cannot operate with the government, and we need to take a vote and get rid of the government and change the terms of reference. And there, guess what happened now? Should they call a vote? We're going to know who the traitors are, the people who claim to them I work for the diaspora, but actually I work for the government. We will know. We will know. And Evan asked a question, why is the optics of an election so important? Here's the thing. Not many people knew. The majority of people in the diaspora didn't know anything about this organization and about the election. Didn't know that this organization is there to provide services to you. They didn't know. They didn't know. And so what they've done is, because we have 4 people run the organization, 4 people lead and direct it. 3 of them are not diasporans. They don't live in the diaspora. 3 of them are Jamaican officials assigned to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. And the 4th person is a diaspora member who they appoint. Is a diaspora member who was elected and then appointed by them to sit on this board. So them have 3 and we have 1, and our 1 is more like 0, because our 1 is one that them say we want to work with this one. You think them would want me sit down on them board? Picture it for a second. Second too fast. Picture it for a moment. What it would be like for Rattigan sit down with them people. Rattigan sit down with the junior minister. The minister certainly not going to come anywhere near me. But the people, the other people, could you imagine that? Because you know what? Me not afraid to talk my mind. Me not afraid to talk my mind and say my piece. Me not afraid. And you know why? Because me not look nothing from them. If I don't serve on that board or get elected, my life not change one bit. My bills them still I go get paid. Still I go yam food. Whenever me, whatever me want to eat, me still I go eat. The things that me I don't know, I'll continue to do them. It not change me. Remember now, you don't get paid for this job, That's another thing. Them are one person I cover from New England, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, all the way to come all the way down to Virginia. Huge, vast territory. And you get no money. If you have to travel, you have to do it out of your pocket. That is not right. That is not right. Divide the region, have more representatives so that people can really focus on their constituencies. And then if you make it a 501c3, then people can pay their expense. People can pay them expenses. And then you'd have a more dedicated cadre of people. But how many people you think I go say, well, something I go on, 500 miles from me, and I have to go pay my way for go up there and then get a hotel and this and that and come. How many people going to do that? You know what people are likely to do? Don't go. They won't go. And then guess what happened? The people up there so get no help, and poor thing them don't even know. So them have a representative. Julie, big up yourself. That's why I'm here. If you illuminate the place, bring light to darkness so people can see. So we have lots more things we can talk about. OTI will kill me. So, and again, let me remind all of you that this Saturday we won't be on. Next week, Wednesday, we won't be on. We're missing one program each. We're missing one Reason with Rattigan and one Come Reason with Rattigan. So this Saturday, we won't be on. Next week, this Saturday, we won't be on. Next week, Wednesday, we won't be on. A week from this Saturday, we will return. And we are going to return with fire. More fire we are returned with. And we know, say, you say, what go again, OT and John? It's a, wait go, it's a, what go, the truth, what go? The truth may make you, what go, I can't remember, the truth, something and that, but first it will make you, the truth will set you free, but first it is going to make you uncomfortable. The truth will set you free, but first it is going to make you uncomfortable. And for those idiots, those imbeciles, those nincompoops running the Global Jamaica Diaspora Election Committee, and by the way, I found out that the government is involved in that as well. We'll not get a letter from me tomorrow. First of the year, we'll not get a letter. I'm just telling you no. Just tell me who are the members of this and where them live. And give me the name, give me the address for the election committee, because in the event we want to file a lawsuit, get judicial interference, we need to know who these people are so we can serve them. We need to know who these people are so we can serve them. So you go and get that letter, and in the meantime, don't hold back, you can't get rid of me. Don't hold back. Get rid of me. All right? Because we'll fight fire with fire. We don't want to fight? Fine. We'll see. Because if we decide to file a lawsuit, they're going to see how much I going to pay a lawyer now and come to court. I'm going to see. I'm going to say the Jamaican government are going to pay no legal fees to come to court. Come fight me. I'm going to see. So, sit tight. Come now watch a program. Sit tight, we'll get the letter tomorrow, and the letter will show say it's anti-democratic, because we don't want opposing voices. We don't want voices to just go along to get along, and it not gonna work. Not gonna work. And we should be ashamed on the damn self. Should be ashamed. On a bunch of hypocrites. Some of you know. You're advocates for democracy. And then when somebody come in now with a voice that is a dissenting voice, and they say, no, we don't want him here. He's a troublemaker. We don't want him here. When all that dissenting voice is saying is that, do the right thing. Do the right thing. That's all. All right. You know what, folks? Let me open the phone line, huh? OT wanted me to talk about the minister, MP Warmington, and the thing about $75 million going to the churches to rebuild.
75 million can't build back churches. Yeah. There are a lot of churches damaged, and my view is I discussed with a pastor. It doesn't make sense for the church to go back to rebuild all of these structures. Okay? What the churches need to do, those who have denomination of churches close together, combine these membership into one building. Because most of these churches, anyone on Sunday don't have anybody in them. Very few people are in these churches. So the best they can do is to combine the membership at one location and having all these structures all over the place. And my concern, I'm speaking as a member of Parliament for Southwest St. Catherine. I'm taking that capacity, whereby close to 11,000 people elected me. So I'm speaking on their behalf. Because they have concern also, and people ask me, and I can't give an answer as to why the government is providing this money for institution. And even if the church has to be rebuilt, it's not the duty of government to rebuild the churches. There's a separation of church and state. So I don't see why the government will be stepping up to rebuilding these churches. It's not our duty. I'm not against the church. I'm a part of the church. But funds should not be going to, taxpayers' funds should not be going to religious institutions or organizations in this fashion. Should not. There are many persons in this country who are atheists or what have you, who are not a part of the church. Some might be atheists, some don't believe in church, some don't go to church, some not a part of the church. And they're part of the tax base in this country. So when those in the church might not have any objection against the church receiving this, what about those persons who are not members of the churches who are part of the tax base, and you take their money and give it to religious institution? How can you explain that to the people of Southwest St. Catherine and to me as representative?
All right. Yeah, move that. Yeah. Look, I agree with him. I agree with him on many levels. The most obvious one is the church and state. You know, he's right. Rebuilding should be done by the parishioners, church members. That's where the government, because of the separation, the government has to remain neutral. It can't take us because then the question is, okay, who are you going to give money to? Which denomination? We don't even get to that. There's a demarcation line between church and state, and so the state can't take taxpayers' money and fund rebuilding efforts. No, and then he gave another sound argument, which is that church membership is declining. And so you may have 5 churches in a certain area, maybe 3 of them are the same denomination, and you have 1/10 of the capacity in each one of them. Someone said, no. Let them combine and have one church then. If they're in the same area, let them combine and have one church. And do something else with the 2 buildings. And he also talked about accountability. How does he account to his constituency when they ask him these questions? And he can't answer. You don't want to be placed in a position like that. And the church already get a break now because they don't pay taxes. If they were paying taxes now and then them turn to the government and say we need help, then fine. But they don't. The church itself, we're not talking about church members now. The church itself, the operation of that church, church don't pay taxes. And you see, that's why, you see, here's the thing. Even if you dislike somebody for one reason, you may like the person for another reason. And you know, I see it in the US Congress a lot, where it's issues, it's not about personality. And you may disagree with somebody vehemently on a certain issue, but another issue comes up, and when you look at the 2 of them support a bill. Why do I make that point? Because Warmington, I've said that based on what I've seen, he knows the standing rules in the House better than most, if not all, in Parliament. And I've said, if the opposition wanted to play chess, what they should have done, well, remember the first time around, who supported the nomination, or they call it a proposal, not a nomination, a proposal of the Prime Minister's wife as Speaker? You remember somebody? How many people remember that Mr. Philip Pavel stood up and said, "We have no objection"? People remember that? That's the first time. Mistake. Second time, more mistake. What they should have done, they should have gotten up. And most of you who come around here on a Saturday, you know the answer because you took the test last week and you passed, right? How do you elect a speaker? And it says elect, but it's not really an election in the truest sense of the word, because the way it's done is somebody gets up and propose a person whom they've had conversations with and who they believe can do the job, propose that person to be a speaker, and it is seconded. And if there's no other candidate, that person is the speaker. What the opposition should have done, they should have stood up and said, because obviously a member of the opposition, it's very unlikely is going to be the speaker because they don't have the majority, right? So what they should have done, they should have played chess. They should have gotten up and said, listen, somebody proposed MP Holness, Juliet Holness, we are proposing MP Warmington as speaker. You see the problem that would have caused? Not for the opposition, you know. You see the problem that would have caused? You see the problem? And if I were there and I said, I propose MP Warmington because I think that he's the fittest person in this venerable institution to be the speaker. Think about what going on in Mr. Warmington head when him hear that. Think about what going on in him head when him hear that. And think about what going on in him head when now them ask yeas and nays and them say, no, Juliet Holness is going to be the speaker. Think about that. Think about how he must think. Think about how it's thought process. He must say, wait a minute now. The opposition says that I'm the most qualified, and I believe I'm the most qualified to be the speaker. And my own party picked this lady who she never know, says she can't call order upon members. She can't call point of order upon members. Think about that. But, you know, I tell you, people, I give thanks to my mother and my father, my community, my friends, my teachers. Give thanks to all of them for who I am today, because I wasn't supposed to amount to anything. I wasn't. And I wasn't a remarkable student either. But things change. Times change. And mentally, you change. And so I take pride in representing all of those people. That I can sit and challenge these people who got the best schools in the world and tie them up like a twist up pretzel. And there's nothing they can do. Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reason with Rattigan, the final edition for 2025. And I want to thank you for being the first caller. Big up yourself.
All right, Sir Ratty. Good night.
I can't hear you. Talk up louder there.
I said good night. Good night.
Yes, my brother. Big up yourself. Bim. Ayo.
Happy New Year when it comes.
Likewise, my brother. Likewise to you and the family.
I hope you guys have a successful 2026.
Well, you know, say that we are doing now. At this our sites there.
Yeah.
So talk to me about going on.
Speaking about the church, I'm completely in agreement with Warmington right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been going to church. When I used to go to church, my mom, whether she can afford anything in the house or not, she paying that 10% in tithes religiously all her life.
Okay.
And so, and ever since I'm probably pushing up on 60 now, in my 60s now, and guess what? Since I was going to Sunday school, them are building fund. So we all have money. If there was investing that as long as they doesn't put it in SSL, they would have a bag of money.
See it there?
And the other thing is, they got valuable real estate. If they need to rebuild the church, they open them books and go to the bank and pay back out of the tithes and what the members contribute.
You know, you made a good point. What I'd like to ask all the churchgoers, the ones who have been around from Sunday school to you know, they graduate from Sunday school and then they become regular members of the church. But from Sunday school until now, the church has been collecting building fund money. And how much building them build with that funds, with those funds? How many buildings them build with those funds?
I hardly see any difference, but I am just, I don't know about most of them other denominations. I can tell about the ones I used to go. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But the ones that my parents and I used to go, not much difference.
See there? No, he's absolutely correct. He's absolutely correct. There's a distinct line drawn between church and state, that there's certain things the state won't do for religious organizations. I know for the Prime Minister to come up now with 75 million and say I'm going to use it to rebuild. I mean, you still have people whose lives have been wrecked, who await for just some kind of sustenance.
Completely. I mean, when I talk to some of my friends and who the only survival was farming, most of that stuff they got to start back from square one.
See there, and you know, and the thing is, you know, there's a certain mentality. There's a certain mentality, you know, that we have when it comes to pastors, in that we believe that our pastor should have the best. Even though we are suffer like dog, you know, we believe our pastor should have the best. So him should have drive the best, him should have wear the best, him should have eat the best. And I said, but wait a minute. Him supposed to shepherd the people.
Yeah,
him supposed to be the shepherd for the flock.
And him supposed to go find a job.
Yeah, man, to find a job.
To take care of himself and anything like that.
Yes.
Can't sit on your laurels and just wait for the flocks to bring in.
Yes. preaching to the congregation should be a calling. It shouldn't be a livelihood. You shouldn't look on it and say, well, me I make how much people in the congregation this Sunday and now come here to make a big money. And depending on how many people there will determine how strong the preaching is. You know, if you don't see a group of people, but when you see a group of people, we can say, well, I make a money.
Man, I tell you, it's a good thing, church is a good thing, and sometimes, but if when you go there and you see most of them doesn't do much for the indigent and so and the real poor in the community neither. They preach to them, but they don't a lot of time they don't give them a helping and or something to come up.
No, they don't. And
so you know it's unfortunate, but man, they got to stand on their own feet. And where I come from, they got the most prime real estate. They can get any money they want to borrow.
That's true. Anyway, Bim, you're call them.
And then pay taxes. I don't know if they pay property taxes, but other than that, them not paying no taxes and their income and all.
Hear me go do.
You know?
Hear me do. Make we finish the call now. I'm gonna grab another call, but I'm gonna shout till it come more, all right?
All right, take care.
All right, my brother. Caller, good night. Welcome to Cumberland's, Miss Rattigan. Where are you calling from? How old is Miss B?
Well, Happy New Year when it comes. Happy New
Same
Year.
to you, same to you.
Everybody, Kevin True, and everybody in our chat. Big up on yourself and the best for 2022.
Same, sir.
Well,
Go ahead.
My thing when I want you say, I don't know if you can say it because I stand to teach men in our court with the SSL saga, because we want to know if prison united people.
All right.
That no one. That no one to me. Or if it's eligible for them to go to the United States to get charged.
Oh yeah.
And get paid over there.
You mean being a government guest? Being a guest of the government.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, may I hear you now?
Yeah, no, I was just saying, yeah, if there should be a government guest, a U.S. government guest.
Okay.
All right.
Because right now, I want my country to clean up. Because if the country not clean up, when we reach 70 and 80, because I know me I live with that. I know where me I go there, and I grant I probably them out there.
All right.
I feel clean.
All right. You want to hang up and let me give my version of what I think is happening, or you want to stay on the line?
Yes, because I love learning, and I want to know everything. I would
All
like to know as much as I can.
All right.
Because too much speculation.
All right.
And I honestly believe it's a little style or a bigger force behind it. So I like your opinion.
All right then.
All right.
All right. All right. But now I'm going to take my call for right now. So please hold on the calls. But need to explain this. It's a good question Ms. P asked, and we need to explain it so that people can understand. Now, the first thing is, what are the charges? Right? They charge Miss Gina and Panton with some serious charges, proceeds, violation of the Proceeds of Crimes Act, and larceny, and a whole bunch of things. That's the first lady they charge in the SSL. These people that they charged last week, Saturday, or they arrested some of them Saturday. These people, look at the charges and compare them. There's a larceny charge. But the majority of the charges, they're compliance charges. Failure to file, failure to register, failure to this, failure to that. They're regulatory in nature. It's like they say, okay, you're supposed to file with under the Companies Act, and you didn't file, and you were operating a business. All right, big deal. The most exposure they have is under the larceny charge. And those of you who watched Mystic's program last night, I was on it, you would have heard me explain what I'm about to explain to you now. That charge, because some people, because it says larceny and it says it's a serious charge, people are under the impression, and I don't blame people for thinking this way, because it sounds like something you can sink your teeth in, like, yes, they might go to prison. But I said to people, listen, you need to curb your enthusiasm. Take a step back and examine what's on the table before you just scoop everything up. The larceny charge, ladies and gentlemen, is a misdemeanor charge. A misdemeanor is not as serious as a felony. I repeat, for those of you who don't know, and I don't want to use legalese because I want everybody to understand. In the criminal justice system, you have misdemeanor, and then you have felonies. Felonies are the serious ones, the ones where, yes, you go to prison if found guilty. In America, misdemeanors, you can serve time up to a year. No more. Can serve time up to a year. And after that, it's a felony. And that's why I said to people, when you see the charges, look at the penalty. Look at what we call their exposure. Look at how much time them eligible for serve in prison. Look at the seriousness of the penalty. And when you look at the larceny penalty, it says you can serve up to 7 years in prison at hard labor. Now, if you see that, you say immediately, whoa, prison time for them people. No, not so fast. Because with misdemeanors, the judges have more leeway. They have more discretion. And what can happen, what could happen in that case, if somebody is found guilty of I think it's section 28, right, of that law, the judge could say probation. Judge could say probation, go home and keep your nose clean for a year or whatever. The judge could also say 7 years hard labor. But what I'm saying is that we have to manage our expectations. Don't think that because it says up to 7 years hard labor that it's going to happen, because the judge could come the other end of the spectrum. The judge could say probation. And there are lots of things that go into that. And you can bet your bottom dollar that if these people are found guilty, that their lawyers will be out there saying that they shouldn't serve any time. And they're going to talk about how good these people are to the community. And they're going to talk about, you know, what you know, a setback it would be for certain things if these people were, you know, if these people were cast away in a prison. And then they're going to talk about safety and security. We know them don't care about the people who come from place like behind me, you know. Them people don't get them breaks there. They don't. So the charges we're looking at for these people, the charges filed last week, they're, in my estimation, they're minor charges. They're minor charges. Most of them, they probably include a fine. Yeah, fine or prison. And they're going to pay the fine. And then the serious one, larceny, it's up to 7 years. What that means is, and it's a misdemeanor. Remember that word, misdemeanor. It's not as serious as a felony. And because it's a misdemeanor, the judges will have some leeway because it's considered minor. Even though all the things that they did are major. All the things they did, major fraud. But they weren't charged with fraud. But here's the thing. The Crown could always add those charges later on. They could always add, you know, the serious charges later on. So it's not, all is not lost. But for right now, I'm telling people, don't get too excited that these people are going to prison. Another thing that you must keep in mind is evidence. And whether or not certain evidence, certain pieces of evidence will be excluded or even found. Because remember, the crime scene is contaminated. People walk through that, people do all kinds of things. They stole computers containing evidence. They allowed people to continue working even after the crime was exposed. They allowed people to go in there and work, which is nonsense. And then they told this big fat lie saying that FBI is involved, blah, 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 blah. I can't say the FBI involved with this going on. No, that's not how the FBI operates. They brought in Kroll. Kroll did a report. The public hasn't seen that report. So you have to ask yourself this. Why did Mr. Croskery, who was in Canada, went back to Jamaica? And why are these initial charges so minor in nature? There is one school of thought that's saying extradition is in the works. And that's why Mr. Croskery found his way back to Jamaica, because if he's in Canada, it's easy for them to grab him, you know. And he's not going anywhere. If he's in Canada let me take a step back. Why would extradition come into play? Because SSL was in the business of dealing with stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. Right away, you see the American connection. And it is believed that some of the people that lost money, they're Americans, and that some of them complained. And then so now you have American dollars involved, and they're working, you know, doing things with American corporations on the stock exchange and all that. So you could see where if somebody felt like, hey, you know, they stole my money, you could see where that person would then lodge a complaint. And I'm being told, I can't verify it at this point, but I'm being told that Foggy Bottom is involved. Foggy Bottom and DOJ. And Foggy Bottom is it's the area in which the State Department headquarters is, and people just refer sometimes when they're referring to State Department, they say Foggy Bottom. And I received some information saying that Foggy Bottom is involved, DOJ is involved. Again, I don't know if it's true. I can't verify it. But let's just say that it's true, that Americans complained to the US government about the actions of SSL. And they went to DOJ, and DOJ issued extradition orders. And that Mr. Crossgray is in Canada and he heard about it. If I were advising him, I'd say, come back to Jamaica. Remember that commercial? Come back to Jamaica. I'd tell him to come back to Jamaica. Why? Because if he's in Canada and they grab him, he's going to be in jail in Canada. And then all they have to do is do the extradition with Canada. And then it'd be here. Spend a lot of time in prison or in jail. So if you bring him back to Jamaica, and again, this is just my theory. Can't prove it. But I'm just looking at things as they unfold. And so if the case is that he was advised, if the case is that he was advised to return to Jamaica, then it would follow, this would follow. You come back to Jamaica and then you put on these minor charges. Why? Because that acts as a tool on extradition. What does that mean? It means once he's facing charges in Jamaica, the body will not be transferred to the US. They'll still do the paperwork. The paperwork they can still, go through the motions with the paperwork, but the body, Mr. Crossgray, they will not put him on a plane and send him anywhere. He'll stay in Jamaica. That stops extradition. The charges against him will stop extradition. And here's another thing. If you get a good defense attorney, you can let this thing play out for years. For years. You can file all kinds of motions. And we know how the judiciary in Jamaica, the judicial system is clogged. It's clogged up. And so you get a hearing 6 months from now, and then your lawyer, then somebody show up from the law firm and say the lawyer who's handling this is sick. And then it gets put off for 8 months. And then they come back and they file a motion. And so now the court has to set another date to go hear that motion before they can proceed. And then they file another motion saying, they have to, evidence is missing, or the judge should reject certain evidence coming into the case. And this could just go on and on and on and on. And in the meantime, guess what? Mr. Crossgray is free to move around. It's free to move around. Prince Ella, that's a good question. That's a good question. And that's something that the Crown should be looking at. The Crown should be looking at that and say, what can we charge these people? Now, here's another thing, and I'm glad you mentioned that because OT and we had this conversation. We had this conversation. And then we also had it with June. But here's what happened with that. The reason why they can't, and again, this is just my theory. This is just my theory. May not amount to anything, but, we're thinking. The reason why they can't afford to have Crossgray on U.S. soil in custody is because he would be looking at a very long stretch in prison. It's not a misdemeanor. It wouldn't be a misdemeanor charge. It would be a felony. And so he would be looking at a very long time in prison, except if him start sing. And you know when him start singing, you know what will happen. Because one of the questions I'm sure they're going to ask him about the Prime Minister. Because one of the things they're going to look to see how many people took money, withdrew their funds from SSL and escaped the meltdown of that company. They're going to be looking at that. One of the things that they should be even looking at in Jamaica, and I don't know if they are, is people who invested and took up, because it was a Ponzi scheme, or it appears to be a Ponzi scheme at this point in time. And if it's proven to be a Ponzi scheme or charged as a Ponzi scheme, one of the things that they should be doing is they should be looking at people who took out money and said, no, you have to bring that money back. Just like what they did with the Bernie Madoff case. And a lot of these cases, we have these schemes and fraud involved. And again, remember now that all of these things have to be proven in court. They have to be proven in court. But what they do is they would bring all of that back and they'd say, okay, you put in $1 and you walked away with $10. No. You have to put back 9 in the pot and you can keep your one. So they'll tell you have to bring back the money you made so that people who lost out on this, they can get their money back. I don't think they're doing that in Jamaica. I don't. So that is my theory on this thing, that if there's an extradition, then it makes sense for them to put these charges on, because these charges will stop the extradition from taking place. Because what will happen is that they're going to say that the charges, you have to resolve the case, and if the person has to serve time, then they serve the time. Then they can transport them based on the extradition. But as long as the charges are pending, now here's what could happen. What could happen is that if the U.S. government is truly involved in this, and again, like I said, I can't verify it. I don't know. But if the U.S. government is truly involved, it could say to the Jamaican government, drop the charges, send the body. They could do that. That could happen. That could happen. Could someone sue the government for failure to enforce the securities laws? All right. It's another good question. Because if I were defending Crosscray, that's one of the arguments I would make. And I'm sure they're going to make it. They don't need me to give them advice. They're going to make that argument. They're going to say, listen, we didn't have a license. The government knew we didn't have a license. And the government allowed us to continue doing business for years. You see where that argument is going? That argument is now going to the point of accusing the government of being complicit in this. Because they're saying you have a duty, you have a right to monitor and enforce the compliance regulations. And you did not. You did not. And remember now, when you're making these arguments before a jury, some people will agree with you and say, yeah, if was it not FID, FSC, Financial Services Commission. I'm saying, yeah, they were supposed to monitor and notify And in one instance, we know that they said that they notified Minister Clark. You know, Princella, can they be charged under RICO? It depends. It depends on how far DOJ would like to extend its arm. Because remember now, you have RICO could be a stretch though. But you're talking an enterprise thing, so you'd have to show that there's an enterprise, and you'd have to show that these people act in furtherance of that enterprise. So you'd have to say SSL does the enterprise, and they all knew what was going on, and so you can impute the actions of one person to the entire enterprise and hold everybody accountable. But it depends on there are some nuances to it, and so DOJ would have to look at it, and they would have to make a decision as to whether or not they're going to go that far. But we're just speculating right now because we don't have the facts. But we certainly can speculate what if this happened, what if that happened. And that's exactly what we're doing right now because we don't have the facts. You know, and remember that as far as the Crosker is and all the other people involved are concerned, there's an element of innocence that we have to respect. And that is, people are innocent until proven guilty. No, that's in a court of law. In a court of public opinion, I mean, people will say all kinds of things. People will make connections that are there. They will make connections that are not there. But see, what happens in the court of public opinion, you don't have rules of evidence. And I've seen many cases where the person was guilty as sin, but because of procedural errors, the person walked. So evidence that should have come in against the person was rejected. So I just need you to keep that in mind, that we're talking about two courts now, court of public opinion and the court of law, and that the standards are different. And if we're talking about a court of law, just remember that every accused is assumed to be innocent until proven guilty. I know it's for some people it's difficult. That concept, as simple as it sounds, is difficult for them to grasp on, because they're saying, well, if him do it, I would know him do it, then how we say him innocent? But those are the rules we set up in a democracy. Sorry, what if Miss Gina and Panton start to call name based on how she changed her law? Jackie, you and the other people asking questions wanna ask some very good questions. Miss Gina and Panton, now there's a little problem with Miss Gina and Panton, because remember she gave the statement, talked about her father had cancer, and so she didn't have the money and she had to do this, and her brother wanted to kill her, I think her mother wanted to kill somebody, and he had a mental issue, and she had to take money from clients' accounts and help out, and then COVID came and wiped her out, and she had to do this, and so she took money and blah, blah, blah. She never once said she took, I don't think she said she took money from Usain Bolt. I don't think she went that far, but she did a very extensive statement, provided a very extensive statement. And then what happened? She said, that statement is not from me. Yes, I said those things, but I said them based on a conversation from one of the people I used to work for. They strongly suggested that I do this, but the statement is not true. The statement is not my statement. Yes, I am responsible for it, but it's not my statement. She recanted. So think about her now sitting on this, sitting as a cooperator for the government, and she's testifying. Because the first thing is this: is she going to give another statement? Is she going to give another statement? We don't know. But if she gives another statement and it's vastly different from the one she gave, now the question when she gets up there is, which one of these statements is untrue? And any answer she gives is going to be a bad answer. Because the question is, are you lying then? Did you lie then? Did you lie there? And the moment that comes out, people say, well, we can't trust anything coming out of this lady's mouth. We'd have to get somebody else to support some of the things that she's saying, because they're going to have a field day with her. They're going to have a field day with her. Because you know what's going to happen? The person that she said encouraged her to make that statement, that person is going to say, I did not. You know how it is. That's exactly what's going to happen. That person is going to say, I never told Miss Gina and Pantan to write that. She did that on her own free will. I wasn't even there when she met with the investigators and she drafted that or she signed it or whatever. I wasn't there. I never said anything to her. And because she recanted, no, she's going to, not that it cannot be overcome. Because I've seen situations like this where people overcome. But it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. Yeah, she needs a good lawyer. The problem is, can she afford a good lawyer? That is the thing. So, Ms. P, I hope I answer your questions. Or you asked one question, but actually that one question you asked had many questions embedded in it. So I hope I answer them. If I didn't, please reach out to me and let me know and see if I can clarify. But again, remember now, I'm speaking from the perspective of just looking at pieces of information and trying to make something out of them. And at the same time, being careful not to accuse anyone of anything. Because the accused, they're innocent until proven guilty. And then some of the things that we just have to start looking at things and try to make heads or tails out of them. To say, well, why is it that they only charge them with this when they did all these things? And look at what Miss Pantan, look at what they charged her with. And she didn't own the company, you know. She didn't own the company. And you have to ask yourself the question, how is it that she was able to do all of that and nobody in the company knew? How? Is it possible that she did it in consultation, in cooperation, in collaboration with other people? Is it possible? We don't know. We can only speculate. Yes, Miss P, talk to me. Hello?
Yes, sir, Ratty.
Yeah.
Look here, may I listen good, but you see the statement where Jean Pantan give?
Yes.
And the names where she put up?
Yes.
And the amount of money?
Yes. Where
she said she take from Tom, John, Mary, Joe?
Yes.
When you had up them the money there, when they have on paper, there is no way a bearer I will get them the money in a cash.
There
so once is a good attorney, because you're not, you know, but when you look deep, the amount of billions could have buried 1,000 father and left change. So when you look at the amount, where the paper come out and you see the name and how much fire one there, and when you calculate them up, how she get so much money, which bank gives so much money. This week, you give $1 million. Next week, you get one of that 2 million. Then that will raise a red flag.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Jamaica, Ratty, let me tell you. And if you don't have a certain big business, say the hardware person, and you throw your little partner and you add up to our money, and you want the money to go do something like $1 million. Lord God, Ratty, the amount of question, when they question you, they now give you $1 million cash. Then I got to tell yourself, say you go pay the $1 million to your health place, because sickness. Then I go call the place and let's wire the money to the place. Then now give you $1 million in your hand cash. Even at the ATM, $100,000 per day can draw, no matter how much money you have in there. if you want 200,000, if you have a plan and you want 200, 300,000, you have to go in at the bank, question you, and I pay you money. So when a lawyer, a good attorney, I go say, then how should we draw so much million Monday, last week, so much million, so much million. So in space of 1 week, 1 month, in draw nearly 100 billion Jamaican dollar. Something wrong. So the Bank of Jamaica and them have some of the bank, them are the bank when do business. Now they then do due diligence. So that can never happen. And that will never happen. I don't mean a liar, but we learn from who and me live here.
All right.
You have to have a big business and the check, if you run, you have to draw the check in a John name. So you run a business and you go pay your supplier, they want 2 million. You have to go draw the money and draw it to them, whatever. But no cash now pass.
All right.
No raw cash.
All right. Couple of things. One is, you always say that you're not educated, but that don't mean nothing to me because your analysis is spot on. How come the investigators them never figure that one out? How come? The other thing is that the other thing is, how come? Why would she then go and write a statement like this, knowing that it couldn't go so? Why would she? What would prompt her to say, you know what? I'm going to sit down and draft this statement here and talk about all of the things, because it was very specific, you know. She talked about certain accounts and the monies and all of this. What would be the motive for doing that? What would cause you to do that? For tell lie on yourself.
I know she do that. My opinion, them write it and force her to sign to it and say yes to it.
Oh, them for
she had some gun point or something.
Yeah, well, see.
But it's not she do it.
Well, here's the thing now. She would have to go prove that, right? She'd have to go, she don't have to really prove anything, because remember now, people, is the government now have to prove the case, you know. She just have to debunk it. She don't have to prove, she don't have to prove her innocence. She just have to prove that the government not prove them case. So if she get a good attorney, the attorney that can question the government witnesses them, you know, about the procedures that you just laid out.
Yeah.
And once them can't answer, she don't have to take the stand or make no argument.
Remember now, you know, she's just she a wealth advisor. So through them I use wealth advisor as big word now. She's just a receptionist to me. So she tell us, okay, he's a person where tell you about the business and you come and tell us, if you buy the package, this go and this go. She's not a signatory. She's not a signatory. I remember, say, when every check a jar, you're supposed to have a certain person where to them signature after the money check before it can go through. So she alone couldn't drop the check there and put fear name and the check and then the check change. Let me
play devil's advocate, right? Let me play devil's advocate and tell me what you think. What if, because of her position, because I've seen some advertisement that SSL put out with her on it. I've seen, I think, at least one where she said something like, I'm a wealth advisor, something like people trust me, or something to that effect. But she has been her face has represented the company, right? Her image has represented the company. No, let's say that over the years, she developed a relationship with these banking institutions where them give her certain likes, you know, where if I walked in and had a check in the same amount as a check that she submitted, then it would have need 2 or 3, and I have a business, would need 2 or 3 signatures. But because she has developed a relationship with the bank, that if them say something with her name on it and whatever, them just find out, them just kind of like just wave it through. Is it possible that could have happened?
Sir, no matter how me know you as Wilfred Rattigan. And make me a work, how you come there and tell me about. But I mean, you're Wilfred Rattigan, you know, and me a work with Jeffrey Tavares. You don't know me a long time, just do this to me. Me no work that way there. Because the person who change the check, I go in a problem.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's a point when you latch on to this, is that we've been doing this for a while. And they know that she's affiliated with the company, and this company, them cash a whole bunch of checks at these financial institutions, or maybe it's one institution. And so they become very familiar with her. So it's just routine that if something comes with her name on it, or a name from SSL, them just say, all right, fine, run it through. The reason why I ask you that, is because now the banking institution would be at fault as well. If that is the case. If that is the case, the banking institution would also be liable.
Yeah, but all right. To be honest, if it's a little minor check, then probably, because we are human. But now we can get billions of dollars in the US.
Well, here's the thing now. Here's the thing, SP. How do we know that the previous checks weren't bigger than these checks? And so these checks are minor compared to the checks that they previously cashed, previously negotiated.
Well, that is a good point. But to that, the this magnitude of check, then when we see equivalent to Jamaican money, not even one picnic could have come to me with that, because at the end of the day, my trainer tell me, say, nothing never happened till something happened. When auditor run a mine, the bank, hello, this thing is a web, Sarati, is a web of people.
Yeah.
In the circle.
I agree.
Because you as an ordinary Jamaican work and you cannot get $200,000 for the machine. You can't walk in and go draw $1 million. So why did I give this woman, all right. All right. When you look and say last week can come for X amount. This how we can come for X amount. And call the CEO or some other company and say, look here, I see an irregularity here with so and call somebody. They're allowed to put myself and my job and my reputation down here. This a paper where human give. A false paper. I force them, to my opinion, I force him to be, or else him got dead. And him no one dead. So he say yes.
But hold on a second.
When take you, pick the shot, fit you.
But hold on, Miss P.
Probably not say yes, probably not even more where sign to.
But Miss P.
In your sign, because
but Miss P.
In the I'm alone.
But let me ask you this. And I say where Miss Philly I call. Miss Philly, hold on, I soon come to you. Let me ask you this. If it's true that she was threatened and say better sign this thing, don't you think that the same threat or even a greater threat is waiting for her now that she says, I didn't sign it? Because the people might think, no, the next thing she's going to say, is this person tell me to sign it? Don't you think that now she faces a bigger threat?
Yes, a
greater threat, yeah.
What really happened, it comes to the public knowledge and people being scrutinizing. So if anything happens to Jean and Pantan in a prison, lots of people have to go hands about it. Lots of people, not one, not two, not three. Whole heap of people. And a body, I go through some what you call it, arters, and then Senegal foreign got tested and everything to find, oh, she dead. So if it never come to the public knowledge, in that long time,
Miss P.
Long time,
well on.
But they can't do it, kill him.
Well on, Miss P.
If try.
Miss P.
Yeah.
You watch your screen?
If we do what?
You can't see me?
Yeah, me I see you.
All right. We have to bring this back to this point. You just mentioned something that the body I forgot, autopsy and all of that stuff. Look upon this. Mm-hmm. These are the murder. These are some of the murder categories where them have the homicide categories where them have a Jamaica, They would have just put it in this and it wouldn't be murder. They would have just put like this one, death by misadventure.
Our family would have to take it up, and even concerned Jamaica would have take up it. No for the body them where when they fling a corner is because the family them don't have what it takes.
Okay.
And then just call it up. But
because
when people determined to know the cause of death of their loved one and go to the last mile and do not use no doctor from here, from Jamaica, you go overseas and get people where just come do their work. them not go around with him, so.
Because
And like Mr. Moore, where drive down Spur Tree.
right, and drive off.
In security, a piece of rope, I hang himself. All them type of
Yeah.
I'm lucky. She lucky. God the bad side. That's why she not dead. And God not gonna make she dead because then do her wrong.
No.
Evil. All right.
Go ahead.
No one is. We are human.
Mm-hmm.
And if you even try to take a little thing, then call it that. They say father did and whatever. He can't take too much money. $100 billions of dollars, sir. And a million, it's gone in a billion with a B. When do we do? One house.
All right.
In our backyard.
All right. I'm going to ask you one question because we have some calls that coming and I have to go leave you soon. But let me ask you this. I want to get your opinion. Because when you talk, you talk and I believe that you speak for a lot of Jamaicans, right? So we really need to hear your opinion on certain things. I'm going to ask you this. What I've noticed is that there's a big outcry, big uproar, big interest in this SSL saga. And yet when you look at the connections to the ordinary Jamaican, you see that there's no direct impact on the ordinary Jamaican. But when you look at the buses and you look at the drill, the 1.4 billion school bus program, and we've not talked about the one back in 1977 where $200 million allocated to the Ministry of Education, and we don't know where center that money go, right? We talk about the drill. We talk about all of the other things, the tertiary commission where 120 million go and we don't know that money is not coming back and it no benefit, there's no value for money. And we talk about all that. I don't see this spirit that I see, this arousal about the SSL saga. I don't see about those incidents, and those incidents directly impact Jamaicans. Why is that? Am I wrong in saying that? Or if I'm right, why is that?
You are correct, but the problem, in my opinion, is like people fear their life in Jamaica. People don't see what really happened. Jamaica run like a mafia world. If you speak, you're dead. And people fear they go demonstrate and police. Remember, no, Jamaica become a police state, where police just harass you, do anything and just get you. Police just come and kick out you're doing, and say you have something look like God, and you're dead. No, come on, time.
So hold on there. So hold on there. When the Prime Minister, hold on.
In the 90s, when people could attack and the church them is in with the government, the judge them, and everybody, civil society, turn against the poor class of people.
So hold on, Miss P.
Wages.
So Miss P, when the Prime Minister said you can't sleep with the door and windows open, now it changed now that you can't do it because of the police. Is that what you said? Because you said the police, they may come and kick off your door and come inside, but you can't. So all the police no, and a gunman anymore. Police, you say.
If you live in St. Thomas, you see, and you have a son, live a Westmoreland, and decide to come stay with his father. And if you not carry that son and carry him to the police in the area and say, this guy is my son, and he will be staying with me so and so. Somebody will see him and say, look like a thief. And when take a police run, come in and say, get information and say, gunman did it. And nobody knows the question. Bam, bam, and he's dead. And that's it. That is it. You don't see him 2 times and he talk to people. I know, look, I just come to the area. They start to watch him because they look like everybody else see worse if you're not brown and you're in a certain category. That is it.
All right.
Even where I live here, one of my sons they come here. We make sure I walk with them out the coming and nobody can say, Ray, I saw Jamaica run. Jamaica is not like when you was living here. In the last 10 years, Jamaica changed drastically in every aspect.
All right.
Jamaica changed.
Miss P, I'm going to leave it there, so I want to wish you a happy new year. All right? And we'll be in touch because we have a lot of things we have to do. All right? All right. Take care of
Yeah,
yourself.
man. Big up.
All right. Yeah, people. Yeah, somebody said that the reason why people are so interested in SSL is because some middle class people put money inside it. But middle class people, Jamaica's middle class is shrinking. You know, there's not a lot of people in the middle class. So I'm more concerned about the poor people, that bigger class. And why is it that they're not?
Jamaica's middle class is shrinking.
Turn down, please. Hello. Yeah. So I'm saying that the bigger class, the biggest class. Caller, good night. Welcome to Conversation with Rattigan.
Good night, Mr. Rattigan. Happy New Year to you, sir.
Likewise, Miss Philly. Talk to us. What's going on?
Okay, I listen, Miss P, and I listen. Okay, my little thing on it is Jamaica right now, moving on. I hope it will be a total reformation and transformation.
Hold on one second, Miss Philly.
In every way.
Miss Philly, hold on a second. Marine, you said, what is the difference with extraditing a scammer? And there shouldn't be any difference. You know, if you can prove the case that Americans were fleeced out of their funds by people operating out of Jamaica, then there shouldn't be any difference. So that's that. Miss Philly, continue, please. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay, you know, as I said, Jamaica need a transformation and a reformation. And I hope it's in the near future. You asked a question, why so many people interested in SSL? As to the drill, now with SSL, many persons, that's their savings that they work hard for. And you would call it their retirement money, or put aside to even own a home, right? It could be many different reasons they invested in SSL. And they lost their money. So, of course, there is going to be huge interest in that.
Stop.
Now,
Stick up in. You know what I don't see? I don't see a lot of the people who invested in SSL coming out and complaining. Have you seen them?
Well, Mr. Rattigan, you know why I believe people do not come forward? If I was in it,
but hold on, no. Miss Philly.
I definitely would want my money. I would have banged around, would have gone. Okay. And anything I could do possible to get back my money, I would be on that train.
Okay.
So, but some persons are not like that. They wouldn't want people to know that they have such amount of money and they were investing it.
Point well taken.
I believe that's the truth. They don't want to come forward. The only person so far that we know about is the lady with our $63 million on board.
All right. Point taken.
Other persons can know other people that you and I don't know about.
All right. Point taken. Give me the second point that you want to raise.
Mr. Rattigan, the drill. You see, anytime Tufton is charged for all that he has done with the $80 million and the $33 million with the drill and the hospital money, so and likewise Darrell Vaz, then interest is going to be there. Bet my bottom dollar. People is going to have interest in it. But for now, that is why I was calling on MOCA to start the investigation. People is going to run out just the same. Trust my word on that one. All right. Please don't rush me. I'm going to come off quickly, but please don't rush me, Mr. Rattigan, because I waited long and called. Anyway, you see, with the SSL case, it can go any direction right now, because guess why? This is not even a Nancy Webb, it's more than a Nancy Webb. It's about a whole heap of not up in there to unloose. So this case can go anywhere right now, to any direction. What we have to do is have some patience and see when it starts where it's going to go. But I'm hoping that the case be in the US. Trust my word on it. And Andrew Holness could be called as a prosecutor, you know. Because Andrew Holness first gets his money, and only person too. How did he know that he must, how did he know what was going to happen? So he got his money. He needs to answer that.
Yeah, I think he made a mistake. I think he made a mistake. Hold on, Miss Philly.
His personal money,
Miss Philly.
His taxpayers' money.
Miss Philly.
Why did he take taxpayers' money and put into?
Miss Philly, hold on a second. No. I just need to. I needed to make a correction. You said Mr. Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, could be called as a prosecutor, and I just wanted to to correct that. He wouldn't be called as a prosecutor. He'd be called as a witness, or he would be charged as a defendant.
Oh yes, sorry. Okay. Yes, you're correct. Yes, pardon me. Yes, I don't know what prosecutor in my talk. Professor Paul. Anyway. Yes, he can be called as a witness because he should not take taxpayers' money and put into something that he knows was not registered. He knows that. And I would want he be charged. I would hope that something like that could come up into the case while it's going on to highlight that the Prime Minister know. Yet he put taxpayers' money. Why did you do it? And you know it was not, and they weren't even paying any taxes. I would want Andrew Holness to get what he must get out of that situation. Lastly, did Ms. Panton know that the proxy scheme was going to crash? I don't know. I'm only asking the question. I'm wondering if she knew. And also, if she knew that Andrew Holness had gotten his money. And also, if they knew she was taking money, the other parties responsible, director and whatsoever, did they knew she was taking money? When did they know? If they know, or if they didn't know, when did they know she, Miss Panton, was taking money? It's just, it's just something else, this situation. But there's a lot that will be coming out when the case starts, for sure. And I think Ms. Panton, there's more that she has to say. But I don't think she was forced to give that statement because she will have to prove that fact that she was threatened to give that statement. Okay?
Okay. All right.
Do you hear me,
Fair
sir?
enough. Yes, I can hear you. Fair enough. Mm-hmm.
So, all in all, a lot is going to come out of it. And I don't wish for anybody to get away. I don't trust Jamaica system. Wait, these two. Mr. Rattigan, I believe what you say, because I was wondering why the director, the one that was in Canada, why is he in Jamaica to be charged? Because I knew he was not in Jamaica. He went away fast, quick, as things were coming out. So I was wondering, why is he in Jamaica? All these things just come up so fast that, they are charged. So therefore, I believe there's some extradition thing was going on. And they say, okay, come to Jamaica. Because Jamaica is known for cover up. And this, to me, this is what they want and was moving towards. So I'm hoping the investors understand all of this and try to get the responsible persons in the US to know this, put away all the charge that Jamaica's put on them, and take them, carry them, go far and go try them, so they can get the ultimate justice, because they want team and they don't want to be held accountable for it. And it's easy, I realize, from all of this and all that you say that that they can be charged for and not charged for on the misdemeanor case and what have you, because we are looking at it as it's heavy, but for the charges for them to lay down, it's light, and that's not fair. consequences for their thief in action. Because the man thief already and he never stopped thief. And they have the money. They have the people's money. And I wish that the people, with all of this said and done, that they get back their money. It's not fair. It's not right. It's easy to thief and hard to get justice, especially in Jamaica. Thank you, Mr. Rattigan.
All right, Miss Philip, take care of yourself. Happy New Year when it comes.
Thanks. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Jackie Graham asked, can Rico, can you charge him in the US? Yes, you can, Jackie. Again, as long as you can show that there is an effect, that there is a connection between what's happening in America and another country, yes, you can bring the charge. And in this case, it would be that if SSL, if they were engaged in selling stocks or buying stocks in the US, even through a broker, that would be enough connection to move, at least consider the charge. But there's more to it than that. But that part of it would be satisfied. The connection part of it would be satisfied. Because if there's no connection at all, then obviously they can't bring it. But if there's any connection, then they can look to the other. They can look to the other acts conducted by the bad actors. They can look to see what else did they do besides the connection. Caller, good night. Welcome to Come Reasons, Rattigan. Where are you calling from?
Hi, Mr. Rattigan. Good night. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Okay, very well, thanks. Okay. I just returned from Jamaica again about 48 hours ago. So we happened to go by the Wharfs, someplace in the downtown Kingston. And it seems like all barrels are sitting there. Well, I didn't send a barrel, but I went with someone. So I believe the Prime Minister had said, and some people were trying to speak to us.
Yeah.
I believe some supervisors didn't want them to. Because I recall the Prime Minister had said they were going to allow people to take the barrels from the wharf. They were giving them time like until the ending of November without charges. Then again, he had said it was going to be put back to December 31st without charges. Mr. Rattigan, if you ever see the amount of barrels sitting on the wharfs downtown Kingston there, by the water area, I think, it's a shame. One person said to the person I went with, listen, some of the barrels started smelling. The only thing I was trying to say, how would they know the barrel is smelling if they didn't open those barrels? Okay? You know, it's a shame what's going on down in Jamaica right now. And people, please, continue if you can. It doesn't matter how much. Continue supporting Mr. Rattigan channel with the Melissa funding, hurricane funding. It's not pretty. It is not pretty. Okay? What I'm seeing, it's not pretty. And it's like it hurts me all over again. A few weeks ago when I returned here from Jamaica. Now I have to go back, but I'm back in this state now, right? Mr. Prime Minister, your people needs help, sir. I'm not sure what Jamaica are you living in. I know it's not Jamaica, Queens, New York. We're speaking about Jamaica, West Indies. Your people needs help. And it's a shame. Instead of you all going after Mr. Rattigan channel or the other like-minded YouTube channels, you should be going after your lazy MPs to step out go into their constituency and see what's really going on. Okay? It doesn't look good. It really doesn't look good. One last thing here. Why the deuce are they evicting some people from the schools, the hurricane victims? If you're going to evict them, where are you going to put those people? It doesn't make any sense. It's just confusion going on down in Jamaica. Confusion. Okay? Mr. Rattigan, enjoy your new year when it comes, sir.
All right.
And likewise to everyone on the channel. Have a blessed new year when it comes around.
All right.
Foremost, ask for good health. What I'm saying in Jamaica doesn't look good. Mr. Rattigan, be blessed.
All right.
Always.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the call.
You're quite welcome.
Bye-bye. Wow. Barrels of pile up on the wharf. It's going to be interesting to see how that is going to be resolved. If come next month, all of them will be gone to, where they should go. I see in the chat that Walk Like a Champion says that she's asking, OT, what was the question? Walk Like a Champion, and everybody, please forgive me if you put that question and I don't answer. It's not because I'm trying to avoid it, it's because sometimes I don't see, because I'm actually looking at two screens. I'm actually looking at two screens, and then I'm trying to collect my thoughts in answering questions. So, if the USA government changes, can they reopen the case? Well, Walk Like a Champion, the first thing is that, did they open the case? If you're talking about the SSL case, we have to say, did they open the case? We don't know. We're just surmising. We're pontificating. We're assuming. We don't know. But let's say that they opened the case, and it's an extradition case. That case would continue until you could have in the Department of Justice, because they're the ones involved in extraterritorial issues like this. They work alongside the State Department, so they could decide not to proceed, depending on the administration and the relationship with Jamaica. So, if the government changes, can they reopen the case? The assumption is that there's a case open and that the case is closed. We don't know that to be the case. However, if we assume that the case was open and it's closed, they can reopen it. It depends on the statute of limitations. And I don't know off the top of my head what the statute of limitations is. Well, it's hard for me to say because I don't know what the charges, if any, what the charges are. So I would have to look at the charges and then go to the statute and then look to see what the statute of limitation is. But if the statute of limitations hasn't run, then certainly they can always, if they open the case and they close the case, they can reopen the case if the time period allows for it. As long as they didn't have a hearing by a judge who dismissed the case, because if the case was dismissed, you can't bring the same case again. You have to have something different, because that would be called, they call it double jeopardy, where the same branch is bringing the same charges twice, after, or bring it again after it was dismissed. So it would have to, if they bring charges, if a judge dismissed the charges and the US government says we're going to bring the charge, it can't be the same charges against the same parties. Cannot be. That's double jeopardy. They could bring charges, but it'd have to be different charges, different theories, different charges. I think they could probably use the same facts, but it'd have to be a different charge. But that's where we are with that. Anybody else? We have 16 minutes to go. Why should try to help the people when they keep voting for this JP government? Refresh. Why should we try to help the people in Jamaica when they keep voting for this? Well, refresh. What if she becomes a prosecution witness? Scratch. What if? Oh, Scratch is referring to Miss Gina and Panton. If she becomes a prosecution witness, where? In Jamaica or in the U.S.? What if she becomes a prosecution witness? She would have to, her lawyer would have to negotiate that testimony and leverage that testimony to her benefit. For example, you could say, look, she's willing to tell you all that she knows. They call it a proffer session in the US. So where you would go in and you would say all that you know, and then the government would decide, okay, this is good. What we'll do is we'll give you like 6 months in prison. You plead guilty, we'll give you 6 months, and then you testify everything that you've told us against this person. Or they could say, you know, we're going to let you go, and because of time served, and then, you know, you testify against this person or against these people. Not quite sure how it would work in Jamaica, being a prosecution witness. GCT at ports. Oh, that's an interesting point. Remember last week, Wednesday, we had on a lady, Miss Dell, who said that she sent barrels down to Jamaica based on what she heard the Prime Minister and others say that they're going to relax the fees and the tariffs and the duties and GCT, all that. And she said when she went, she found out that it was no different than her previous the previous barrels that she sent to Jamaica. That it was essentially the same amount of money, that she didn't get any break, and that was not what the government said or the Prime Minister said would happen. We looked into it, and we now know why. And it wasn't just Miss Dell. There are other people charged as well. And we looked into it, and we found that there are some things that, and we don't have it today, but next week, I promise you, next week, no, the week after, because we're not on next week, Wednesday. Maybe Saturday, maybe next week, Saturday, we'll have her on and I'll explain the whole thing. But you could, according to the regulations, you could send it to a charitable organization. So you just turn everything over to the charity, and that's it. They'll take care of everything. You could send it to the government, ODPEM, and they would send it, that, you know, they're responsible for the thing being released into the country. Or you send it to somebody in Jamaica, an individual, and that person would have to have they'd have to have their identifiers, their person identifiable cards or whatever, was it TRN, ID, this, that, and then you would have to execute like an affidavit saying that you're sending this and they're receiving it for relief purposes. But according to the regulations, you can't send it to yourself. You can't send it from New York, and then when you reach Jamaica, you go and clear that barrel, because then it comes in as a personal thing. So that's one of the requirements. But I'm going to clear that up next week. All right, so stay tuned for that. Caller, good night. Welcome to Reasons Rattigan. Come Reasons Rattigan. Hello.
Oh, okay.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you. We only have a few minutes left. I hate to rush you, but talk to me.
All right, you hear me better now?
Yes.
I enjoy tonight's show. I always enjoy your shows. So
thank you.
Enough love for that and respect to the man, family and all. Listen, I have a question for you. I don't know if it's feasible, it's possible, but I did look into it, and based on my research I got, I say yes, it is possible. Jamaican government about to receive 3.2, 3.3, something another $1 billion. Now, we know there's no hands about it. We know they cook it. Christopher Tufton start finding a way how to steal some by saying the medical waste incinerator that they have 2 and they might make up excuse. And so really might be going to outsource. From I hear that word outsource and say, okay, I'm figuring out a way how to rob some of this money. Now, we know how they behave. Is there any way, with enough signature, we can send to the multilateral lenders and draw a red flag to say, you have 12 people on investigation, illicit enrichment. The Prime Minister have not declared his statutory declaration. And there's quite a few other things. The assistant to Flavor Williams, He's on the investigation, and he's the finance minister.
Mhm.
So, is there any way we could get enough signature to really slow it down, stop it, or put more oversight on money coming?
All right. I'll tell you one of the best ways to do it. One of the best ways to do it is instead of writing to the multilaterals, because the problem with those, with what was it? IDB, World Bank, IMF. The problem with them is that you write and you don't know where those letters are going to go, right? What I would suggest is write to the Auditor General, because she's doing a real-time audit right now on relief for Melissa. I think she's doing it with OTPEM. That would be the best way to do it, because that's her job to conduct audits. And I think if she has enough people, she'll gladly do it, because there's so much interest in how resources are disposed of and dispatched in Jamaica. Resources including money, because Jamaica has earned a reputation of being a very corrupt society, particularly with the parliamentarians. So she's doing a real-time audit right now. And I think if we get enough signatures, if we get enough notices to her saying we need you to pay attention to this, she would do that. So not that you can't write to the international organizations, but we don't know how long they're going to take to respond.
Here's what's interesting. There's right now under this administration, even the court is compromised. Look at the foolishness the one rule on regarding the Paul Buchanan case a couple of weeks ago. Look at the foolishness she totally ignored all the facts, everything else, and rule on some foolishness that have nothing to do with the case. Just because she's compromised.
Right.
She's been highly paid. So the justice system is highly paid. No, I don't trust no entity at all in Jamaica. I think the Prime Minister cook up and have all of them in his pocket. All of them is in his pocket. Before the election, he gave them big raises. Right now, they have $1.15 billion money that they got for the relief, and he haven't spent a dime out of it. What does that tell you? That he have no intention of spending any. Don't wait until you get 10,000 more billion. Spend and show that, okay, in good faith, we're going to spend this, and this is where we're going with it. No, nobody have any clue where he's going with it. Getting a pile of more money. Look at the case of JPS. You have $150 million you get from hurricane relief, insurance money. You take all of it and lend to JPS, and then look outside. And then JPS turn around and raise them by 7% and shock even the minister. What can you do about it? Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. The people have to look. It starts with information, followed by action, and the people must be involved. And if they're not involved, if they're disinterested, then
get the people involved. All of us need to be involved. I don't live in Jamaica, but I have interest in Jamaica. I have property in Jamaica. I have houses in Jamaica.
Right.
I have families in Jamaica. I'm thinking of moving back to Jamaica. When after this guy went, man, I just kill my spirit.
Yeah.
Kill my spirit. I half pack. I'm telling you, mentally, I was ready to go.
Right.
But
if you look on the screen, that's
there.
If you look on the screen, it says AG email to Attorney General regarding rural school bus. If you see the email right there on the screen, you see it says it's audgen@auditorgeneral.gov.jn.
No, I got our information.
All right, outstanding.
Our information.
Good.
One signature now gonna make her eyebrow raise. Should have said,
No, but we all have to do it. And what I would love for you, if you do it, just send us a copy of it, and then we just get everybody to do it.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Happy New Year to you, my brethren. Take care of yourself.
Respect.
All right. Blessings. Yes, folks, we have 6 minutes to go because we want to leave enough time so that people can go and celebrate the new year. So we don't want. We were supposed to finish at 10. I know OT she's like making a fist right now at me. So, and the other members of the crew, I know they're laughing. Kevin is laughing, and Joan is laughing, saying, "See, I tell you, you can't finish at 10." So that's where we go. But people, listen. we have work to do. We have work to do. And it starts with education. Starts with education. We need to start paying attention as well. Get the education, pay attention, action. And as we say, when we say action, we're not talking about anything illegal. We're not encouraging anyone to do anything that is criminal. No, we're asking all of you to act within the bounds of the law. If it's a letter writing campaign, if it's a protest, if it's a meeting, we're asking you to get involved. Because if you're not involved, it gives the impression that everything is fine, you don't care. And whatever it is that's bothering you will continue. Whoever is doing it will continue to do it because nobody now asking any questions. Nobody is expressing any concerns. So, procurement and parliament. All right. OT. All right, folks, let me just wish all of you Happy New Year. Because I'm turning off the phone right now because I just want to talk. We only have a few minutes left, and OT wanted me to talk about this. I don't know how many of you know the story about the clerk in Parliament who raised alarm about procurement irregularities, and she was removed from her post, and I think given 50% of her salary, and then I think they suspended her, but she got her job back. She got her job back. She stood her ground. These are the people we want. These are the people that we want, and these are the people that we want to be, or we should aspire to be. She stood her ground and she said, no, it had to do with, they were spending money. I think she raised some concerns about money being spent to renovate part of the parliament, and also monies concerning air conditioning units. And she raised, and I guess they wanted her to sign off on something. Whatever they wanted her to do, she refused. She said, no, I'm not doing it. And they said, okay, since you won't do it, we're going to get rid of you. Now, I want to see some action taken against the people who tried to get her to commit illegality or to commit waste or abuse. I would like to see something done to those people, but we haven't seen anything of consequence. Maybe they took action and we don't know about it. But the important thing is that this one lady, I'm going to get her name because we have to big her up. This one lady, one dege lady in a parliament. She's not a parliamentarian, by the way. She's a civil servant. She was seconded over there. I don't think she's fully assigned to parliament. They sent her over there for some special project or whatever. And she saw what was going on and she said, hell no, I'm not going to let this continue. And she started speaking out. And that's it. They got rid of her, but no, she's back. She's no longer in parliament. They move her back to her regular job, but she's getting her back pay and all of that. And because Services Commission, they had the case, she appealed, and they said no, she shouldn't have been suspended. Yeah. I clapped the almost deaf meter. Whoa. Yeah. So, folks, it's 10:59 now. And I just want to say we're going to leave. We will return a week, not next week, but the week after. We won't have a program this Saturday. We will not be on Reggae Global Radio or YouTube this Saturday. We don't have a program. We don't have a night program, the music program with the whole out of love, and we have some special attraction for as well when we come back. But this Saturday, we won't be on. Next week, Wednesday, we won't be on. Next week, Saturday, we return. And for those of you who don't understand or for the people who are not here, I will send out a message. We will send out a message this Saturday saying there will be no classes. No classes being offered this Saturday, the following Saturday. So until then, people, yes, Jeffrey, we shall return. We will return. We must return. Take care. Happy New Year. We'll see you soon.
Criticized for the people every day, defending your rights. I saw him stay, him fight for the people every day, risk him life for the people every day. Get criticized for the people every day, defending your rights. I saw him
On October 28th, Melissa, a Category 5 hurricane, turned her wrath upon our homeland, Jamaica. In the aftermath, thousands of homes were destroyed, lives, pets, and livestock were lost, and dreams and hopes dashed. Resilient as we Jamaicans are known to be, our brothers and sisters on the island need our help now. To this end, the One Jamaica Legal Defense Foundation, OJLDF, has launched its official fundraiser. Please donate generously at OJLDF.net. We are depending on each and every one of you to get the most needed supplies to our people at home. Go to OJLDF.net. That's OJLDF.net and hit the donate button today. Thank you.